for hoops and horsepower. For teams, this is a home game. They know every bump, every bend of this mile-and-a-half venue. It's All-Star Week. A lot of hype surrounding these races, but the only race that matters belongs to the All-Stars of the Truck Series. Truck Series All-Stars Crafton, Bodine, and yes, Rowdy Busch is in the field. Another Cup counterpart, Ryan Newman, in this race, but they're all chasing Mike Skinner, the current points leader. Ask a driver why he loves racing here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. He'll tell you it's because he gets to sleep in his own bed. Ask a race fan why he or she loves this track, and they'll tell you it's because it's NASCAR's backyard. Get ready to jump on the jungle gym. It's time to get set up. There is something in the air tonight, and no, it's not just the smell of Rick Allen's hair gel. Hello, everyone. I'm Krista Voda. Welcome to the setup from Lowe's Motor Speedway. This is the weekend where Cup drivers get to let their hair down. But tonight, the Truck Series drivers are about to make your hair stand on end. Why is this race any different? Because, like we said, this is the center of NASCAR's universe. And what does that mean? It means so many eyes, because it's All-Star Week, are watching the Truck Series drivers tonight. Ray Dunlap and Adam Alexander have been working the Truck Series garage. They are on pit road. Ray, let's start with you. What's happening right now?
Well, Krista, the guys are getting ready to go racing tonight, but earlier today here on Speed, we were going to show you all of qualifying live. The only problem was it rained and we didn't get qualifying completed, so they set the field by owner's points. Now that affected a couple of drivers significantly. How about Colin Brown? He was third in qualifying at the time, and David Gilliland will start tonight, and he had a really good run in qualifying, but it all gets wiped out. And guess what? Neither of those drivers will start tonight in the top 15. Adam?
Ray, if you follow the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, there is one name you should be familiar with after Kansas. That would be Brian Eichler. He filled in for Kyle Busch in that race and finished in the 5th position. Now, the original plan for him was to run the races that Kyle couldn't run throughout the 2009 campaign, but because he was so good at Kansas, they have put him in the 2nd Billy Blue Motorsports truck, the 15. He will start 21st tonight, the first of what is expected to be 15 starts this year. And I'll tell you what, this kid has been very impressive, Krista.
All right, thanks, Adam. Yes, let's talk about some of that news. Ray Dunlap mentioned rain washing out qualifying. So who is on the front row? The trucks right behind me belong to Kyle Busch and Mike Skinner. They are your front row for tonight's race. Also, a new crew chief. John Monson returns to the Truck Series for Kevin Harvick Incorporated. He takes over crew chief duties in Dover. That will be our next race. Ryan Newman is in KHI's number 4 truck tonight. Well, it's been 3 weeks since the Truck Series raced in Kansas, and you know, the drivers probably needed a 3-week vacation, mostly just to dry out. Surviving took on new meaning at that race. Let's take a look back at Kansas.
Here in Kansas City, Kansas, gray skies just above us, but that is completely out of the mind of the drivers right now. Hornaday in his 20th career pole leads the field to the green flag. Well, we're a long ways away from the end of this one, but it looks like a pretty strong cell of weather is about on top of us.
This dot right in the middle, the Kansas Speedway, and you can see down to our southwest what is coming.
We had lightning and thunder in the area, so NASCAR decided, let's get them off the racetrack, cover up the trucks. They brought everybody into the media center. Actually, tornado warnings and a touchdown of a tornado 9 miles west of here in Leavenworth County. NASCAR has said we will not race today. We'll resume this race Monday at 10 a.m.
We will have had an IndyCar race on this racetrack.
Scott Dixon wins his 17th race in his IndyCar career.
Under a rain delay situation, the precipitation has stopped falling. The jet dryers are on the racetrack. Jet dryers are making some progress on the racing surface here at Kansas Speedway. Good progress being made on drying the racetrack here at Kansas for the O'Reilly Auto Parts 250. And you see now there are raindrops in the puddles here at Kansas Speedway once again. The trucks are on the grid. The drivers are strapping in. The officials are getting ready for this event to get back underway. Green in the air. Skinner leads Brian Eichler across the start-finish line. Now the caution flag comes out for precipitation. The trucks are being brought onto pit road while they continue to try to dry this racetrack. And we know it's cold.
But it appears to be cold.
After we saw Ray, it appears to be the frozen tundra. It's obviously chilly. No. We have to have fun in a situation like this.
I tell you, Rick, I feel like Jim Cantori down here fighting a fight. I'm on the Weather Channel. It's blowing me sideways.
And Ray, I'm cuddling with a champion here.
They've been trying to get this race completed for 3 days now. We have completed quite a few laps. Obviously 132 are in the books now, but we're still 35 short of a complete race. Thank you for being patient with us. They're calling the race, and so Mike Skinner will be the winner here at Kansas Speedway.
The weekend that would never end. Take a look at these numbers. Less than 200 miles were completed. That would take you or I on the highway maybe 2.5 hours to drive. It took 47 hours. So what do you do when only 2 hours of that 47 are on the track? Well, you bowl a lot. The speed crew bowled 220 frames. Now those are some impressive numbers. You know, people stop me all the time to ask about our Halloween costumes from last Halloween. I never expected the boys to literally take Wizard of Oz to light there. I really owe the boys one because I had to miss Kansas. I was in Talladega for Fox. So Ray, you always say there's no place like home. I'm sure that took on new meaning after that race.
And Krista, I was pretty glad to get out of Kansas after that trip, but this guy was happy to be there. Win number 26 for Mike Skinner, the first one ever for Randy Moss Motorsports. And the good news is you guys get to bring the same truck here tonight. So will we see the same thing, another victory?
Well, that's our goal. You know, once again, the 33 is awfully good. Kyle's always good. You know, we want to win every week. We want to win every race we go to, but you know, we also need to look at the big picture and try to get top 10s and top 5 finishes, and we don't need to finish 34th tonight. So, Ray, we're going to do everything we can to win in this Ruin Zifra Toyota Tundra, and I just want to thank Ruin Zifra for coming along and helping us out here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. They helped with the Skinner Roundup in Daytona, and here we are still supporting one another, so it's great.
All right, good start to the season. Mike Skinner's worst finish so far this year, 11th. Now let's check in with the other guy who was lightning fast today. He's with Adam.
Lightning fast, meaning he was first quick in the opening practice, in the second practice, and best in qualifying before the rain out. Ron Hornaday starting third. What's the biggest challenge you face this evening?
That weather coming. Looks like it's 7 miles away, but it looks like we got an opening behind it. But you guys really need any rain, just have a truck race there. It looks like we're bringing it with us wherever we go. But now Rick Redden, the guys done a great job since this truck's unloaded. KHI has really given me the stuff I need, and I really appreciate Longhorn, VFW, Ream, Copart, everybody who's been helping our whole organization. It means a lot to us.
Hornaday's been Mr. Consistency in 09. He's been in the top 10 in every race. Krista?
Absolutely, Adam. To refresh your memory, let's take a look at our point standings. Skinner leads Hornaday, but Bodine and Crafton are less than 100 back. Guys like Brian Scott, Chad McCumbee, Terry Cook, Stacy Compton, all fighting to stay in this top 10. And did you realize the only points race of the weekend belongs to the trucks? It's already been a busy week here on Speed with hours of special programming, but it's all been leading up to this, the racing. We will talk to more drivers, tell more of their stories. Don't even think about going away.
When the setup returns, veteran driver Rick Crawford takes us flying with the U.S. Navy Blue Angels.
After watching the flight maneuvers this morning, I'm sure that my captain of the aircraft is not going to let me down. I think he's going to give me one heck of a ride.
All this, plus racing from the beast of the Southeast when the setup returns, only on Speed.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series setup is brought to you by Camping World. Visit Camping World for all of your RV service needs, and by Priceline, where you can find half-price hotels every day.
A couple of youngsters trying to be first-time winners on the Craftsman Truck Series.
Can Matt Crafton hold on to win his first ever truck race?
McCumbee looks high. McCumbee looks low. Cannot do anything.
Matt Crafton wins at Lowe's.
Matt Crafton is going to victory lane at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Nice job by Matt Crafton.
Finally, we can shut him up. Now they can say when's the second one coming.
Feel-good moment moments. That is why we love our job, knowing any moment another one could be right around the turn. Hello and welcome back to The Setup, live from Lowe's Motor Speedway. If you ask Matt Crafton what is his feel-good moment of his career, he would not hesitate to tell you it was what you just saw, this race at this track last year. Tonight we have something new for you. It's our bumper to bumper feature. Think of it kind of like Facebook, but better. Here you're going to learn something you didn't know about Matt Crafton.
One of my heroes in racing was Davey Allison. I mean, I still to this day, where every race I have my Davey Allison shirt on that I got from Davey Allison in the early 80s. When I started racing late models, I started looking at a bunch of pictures when I was racing midgets out in California. And in a lot of these wins, I had my driving suit down just like the days, and I had this Davey Allison shirt on. I mean, I'd say 80 to 90% of my wins. It was just like, I don't know why, and all of a sudden I saw that, so I was like, I gotta wear my Davey shirt all the time. So, and I wore my Davey shirt. This is actually my second Davey shirt because my first one had been washed so many times it had just huge holes in it. I mean, it was just basically see-through. So on my second Davey shirt.
I'm not sure, but maybe Matt Crafton needs to go on eBay and find some more shirts. Open up and see what we got here. We still got the same one. Is this is this the one with holes in it? No, that's kind of a newer one.
It's actually about 4 or 5 years old, but it's actually an old one found in the closet because the one that I used to wear actually had like 3 or 4 inch holes in it. I said, I think it's time to retire that one. Looking pretty bad. But it's just always a shirt that I wore, and I was a huge fan of Davey Allison, so it's just been one of those deals I've done.
Tell me real quickly about the memories. The first victory took so long for you to get, but this team, you and Johnny Sauter together, have really had a good season, good start to this year. But how about those memories of that first big win? Are they still fresh in your mind?
Yeah, they're fresh, but not fresh enough, honestly. I mean, it's kind of cool coming off the turn 4 for the first time, and since last year, coming off and getting checkered flag in practice. But our Menard Chevy, I mean, we unloaded a new truck today, and it honestly wasn't really that good in the first practice. It made a lot of changes, and I think we got enough changes built in it for the race. And this choice changes so much at night, so I'm sure it's going to free up a ton. I think we'll be all right.
All right, go get him. That's Matt Crafton, your winner from this racetrack a year ago. Now let's go back to Double A.
And I think for sure Kyle Busch would have started in the top 5 tonight had qualifying ran to completion, but it did not, and you're on the pole. So what's the biggest advantage to that at this place?
None, because it seems like every week whoever starts on a pole is about 2nd or 3rd on the first lap. So it seems to be going to whoever starts 3rd. So hopefully Hornaday doesn't get that good of a start, which we know he will, and pull below us down a backstretch, make it 3 wide. So we'll see how it plays out, but that's the way it's looked here the last few weeks.
Pole winner has never won at Lowe's in a truck. Krista?
All right. Thanks, Adam, and we want to wish everyone a happy NASCAR Day. You see us wearing our NASCAR pins. It's a good thing everyone is being charitable today because there will be no charity on the racetrack over the next 2 nights. There will be a lot of taking and no giving. In last night's Pit Crew Challenge, we want to offer congratulations to the number 31 team who took the title, but that was not the only title. The night before, it was the media portion of the Pit Crew Challenge, and our speed team did pretty well.
Come on, it's Team Speed, and it's on. We're winning this competition right here, right now.
And I think that was Rick Allen's Ric Flair imitation. Ray Dunlap is ready to go. There's Ray, Rick, Phil Parsons is going to be a tire changer. Mikey Waltrip is there. All right, so here the guys go. Looking good. There's our tire changer. Brian Vickers is helping us out. And we also had drummer from OAR, NASCAR Revved Up with OAR, played that night. So our drummer, Chris Kulo, is also a special guest. The speed team won the entire thing. So congratulations. And I've already talked to some of the crew chiefs down here, and Rick, Phil, Michael, you guys are on standby tonight. So you might be going over the wall in the middle of doing the broadcast because these guys are all impressed.
Well, I mean, not many people have talked about that win. You know, we really have kind of played it down a little bit. You know, we won some awards and everything, but we kept them oh, that's right. I'm wearing it as a necklace. It was fun, though. Actually, I thought we had a good time. We learned a little bit more than I think what we knew what those guys did.
I mean, we respect those guys, no doubt about it. We've seen them in action. We know how tough their job is. But until you actually sign up to go over the wall and give it a try, and they start a clock, that's all they got to do.
Yeah.
They start a clock, and you know, if you're competitive, you're all in. And I think pulled something or hurt.
well, Phil, you were talking about you're still sore, and that was on Wednesday.
That was a Wednesday. But as Michael said, he and I have sat in those cars while those guys did that in 13 seconds, and it seems like it takes forever. But when you're trying to do it now, that's a whole different story. And we've always known that those guys are specialists and they're tremendous in their field, and so many of the guys are ex-athletes. Whether it's football players or baseball players or hockey players, whatever the case may be, but they can get it done now.
Yeah, and you watch them get it done tonight. There'll be a key in what happens and who wins this race this evening. You can't win a race at this level if all parts aren't clicking, and part of the parts that need to click tonight is that pit crew.
How big of an advantage is it for Kyle Busch to start on the pole?
Well, it's an advantage to start up front, I think, because you can actually dictate how the race is going to play out. If you start back in the back, then sometimes you have to use a little strategy to get up there. He won this race from 20th, so he knows how to do it from back there, and we know that he knows how to run up front because he's led a lot of these laps.
And you just got to be mistake-free late. It's a pretty short race. Right. You get halfway into it, a bad pit stop at that point, or you lose some track position, that'll really hurt you. Starting up front isn't as important as being around the front in the middle of the race.
By the way, I want to ride with Chris Devoda on any road trip because she said she can do 198 miles in about 2 hours. So that's pretty good.
I can't even more impressive, Rick, because you've seen the car that I drive. It is not in good shape. And I also want to know if Rick wears his belt buckle, his prize, the entire race. So we'll have to find that out and bring that to you when we come back to you in Dover in a couple of weeks. We mentioned that this race, the last 10 laps, actually tomorrow in the All-Star race, they're going to be insane. But the insanity starts tonight with the trucks, because it is always an incredible show when the trucks are here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Ryan Newman is back in the field because Kevin Harvick and Tony Stewart told him racing a truck is the most fun you will ever have. We will continue to get you set up coming up. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series setup is brought to you by Camping World. Visit Camping World for all of your RV service needs. And by the new Kentucky Grilled Chicken. Taste the unfried side of KFC. Lowe's Motor Speedway, the site of tonight's NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race, and the show is just about to begin. Welcome back to the setup. I'm Krista Voda. Winning at this track or any track is a dream come true for these drivers. Recently, Rick Crawford, one of our series veterans, got to experience a dream of his own. Now, Rick is a pilot himself, so you can imagine the thrill he had when he got to tag along and go up in the sky with the Blue Angels.
How you doing, sir?
Hey, Mr. Crawford. Welcome to Pensacola.
Rick Crawford. Nice to be here.
We have a full day planned out for you today. We're hooked up. We get to watch our practice out here. Following that, we'll get you set up with your pre-flight briefing. We'll tell you what you're going to expect when you jump in the jet and how to do your anti-G-straining maneuver, which is going to be important for you.
That's right.
So you can enjoy the rest of your flight.
All right. A little pitch up and then roll the aircraft 360 degrees. That's like music to your ears. Come on, Six, get it. This is a little bit bigger than wow. That's a close one. Get ready for landing here. I've been blessed with having a job where you can go out on the weekends and have a great time and perform in front of a NASCAR crowd and put on a great show, but they're taking the show to the limits here. Just came from the briefing, about a 15-minute briefing.
A few ground rules. We got a flight suit here for you, and one thing we do ask is nothing in the pockets, and the 2 calf pockets are the only ones that are going to be open, and those for your air sickness bags.
The what bags?
The air sickness bags.
Oh. You learn what to do during positive and negative G's.
After take a deep breath, you're going to say ready, hit it. On ready, hit it, you're going to start saying the word hick, H-I-C-K.
It's going to be easy for me to say hick. I'm from Alabama.
Angel 7, wind 13013, runway 7 right, clear for takeoff, change to departure.
Wind 7, clear for takeoff. There's 200 knots. All right, Rick, ready to go flying? Let's do it. All right, ready, hit it.
Warning. Warning.
There we go. Passing 5,000 feet. We'll roll off to the right.
About 1, turn right, 270 vectors for the GPS runway 14 approach.
A lot of the first maneuvers I'll do, I'll kind of start up and just give the person a little bit more ease of sitting in an airplane like this, rolling it, seeing the world kind of revolve around you.
Nice, easy, slow roll. I'll show you how quickly you can actually roll it. There's one roll. There's two rolls.
Wow. It's not a slow roll over right turn and then we're going to invert. I mean, you just flip over.
When you look outside, it's pretty interesting. A little bit different than what we're probably used to.
Be able to fly someone like Rick who has some background flying and take him up in a different type of airplane and just show him the performance of these airplanes is awesome.
There you go. Squeeze those lower legs. There we go. Hold on that breath a little bit.
I done one time during the G maneuver, I forgot to do my G thing.
Here we go. Go ahead and flex those legs.
North Carolina is known for hoops and horsepower. For teams, this is a home game. They know every bump, every bend of this mile-and-a-half venue. It's All-Star Week. A lot of hype surrounding these races, but the only race that matters belongs to the All-Stars of the Truck Series. Truck Series All-Stars Crafton, Bodine, and yes, Rowdy Bush is in the field. Another Cup counterpart, Ryan Newman, in this race, but they're all chasing Mike Skinner, the current points leader.
Nice to fly with the Blue Angels. They got the equipment that our military needs to defend our country. Let's think about them over Memorial Weekend. But anyway, the International Truck and Engine Ford is running really well, and it had 2 good practices a day. So Kevin Starr and the whole Circle Bar crew can keep it up front. We might be in victory lane. It's driving good, by the way.
Crawford starts 11th tonight, Krista.
Thanks, Adam.
And that was so cool to see that. You know, the trucks are going to be flying around here like fighter jets tonight. And if you can see behind me, all the energy, the excitement starting to build. A lot more people, drivers arriving at their trucks. We are about to go green. We'll get you one step closer and wrap up the setup here on Speed when we come back. All-Star Week culminates with the big All-Star race. I'll be with Jeff Hammond tomorrow night right here at Lowe's Motor Speedway on Speed. You know, the walls at this track are painted yellow, but don't you dare call any of these guys chickens. Cup superstars, Kyle Busch, Ryan Newman, squaring.
It's a place full of comfort.
It looks like he's got more truck than anybody else in the place right now.
This is a guy that knows his way around this racetrack, guys.
The landscape breeds confidence.
Beat and bang, root and gouge, swapping paint, changing numbers in the middle of the back straightaway.
A relationship of familiarity.
It's one of the big tracks in the neighborhood for you.
Between a razor's edge and something soothing. Here, fears are vanquished.
Top 10 single file. Wait a minute, they're already breaking out of line once again.
And when the green flag falls,
roll up your sleeves and put up your dukes. It's about to get physical.
It's where you'll find yourself. It's home sweet home.
Welcome to Lowe's Motor Speedway and welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series North Carolina Education Lottery 200 on Speed. Concord, North Carolina, the site of race number 6 for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. And when you come to Lowe's Motor Speedway, it's like you're coming back home. And so many of the teams are based here in this area. A lot of people feeling comfortable. Their families, their friends, all being able to join them here. And speaking of family and friends joining us, how about our family here on Speed? I've got Adam Alexander and Ray Dunlap that will be calling all the action from down on pit road. Guys, what are the stories that we're going to hear tonight? Ray?
Well, Rick, I think a lot of people are going to be talking about Ron Hornaday. You know, today we were hoping to qualify, but this is our 7th race at Lowe's Motor Speedway and the first time we've ever had a rain out in qualifying. But over the history of this series, it has happened 25 times. And of those 25 rainouts, guess what? Ron Hornaday has won 5 of those. He was fastest in both practices today, but tonight, because of the rain, he'll start 3rd. Now let's check in with Adam.
So you're talking about a veteran, and I'm talking about a rookie. How fitting that you and I are on opposite ends of the spectrum, Ray. James Busher, very good in the practice session here earlier today. He will start in the 14th position. And the reason I like James tonight, because he's got momentum. He won the ARCA race last weekend at the Kentucky Speedway. We will see if there is a carryover effect racing in his own backyard tonight here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Well, veterans against rookies, and everyone's going to be battling against the weather possibly this evening. Take a look at the dark clouds back there over turn number 2. The temperature's still up there, 81 degrees. It's cloudy, and the different thunderstorms and cells are moving all the way around this racetrack. So we're going to keep a watchful eye on the skies tonight as we try to get 134 laps in here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. To get everything started, we've got to obviously keep the pre-race pageantry going, and so we want to start off with our invocation and national anthem. Let's go trackside for those two things.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Air Force ROTC Detachment 592 from UNCC presents our nation's colors. And remain standing as Billy Malden of Motorsports Outreach, with assistance from Christopher Martin, 4th grader from Brookstone Schools, offers tonight's invocation.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful evening as we look forward to an exciting time of racing. We also thank you for allowing Brookstone kids and all these fans to be a part of this. Father, we ask you that you will keep all the drivers safe and help them to do their best. I pray that all we do tonight will bring glory to you. Amen.
Now to perform our national anthem, please welcome Cardinal Crossing.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's hear it for Cart.
Anticipation building for the drop of the green flag. The drivers will get strapped in. We'll start the engines when we come back to Lowe's Motor Speedway. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World. Visit Camping World for all your RV service. By Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing information, visit toyotaracing.com. And by Royal Purple. Visit royalpurple.com to find a dealer near you. Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway. If you missed the setup, well, let's get you reset up. Chris DeVoe is still on pit road.
Yeah, Rick, I was just going to say, if you missed the setup, what's wrong with you? But yes, we will get you reset up. The big news today, qualifying was rained out. So they start based on owner points. That means Rowdy Busch, Kyle Busch, and Mike Skinner are on the front row. Also, Kevin Harvick Incorporated will have a new crew chief beginning with our next race in Dover. That'll be John Monson. By the way, Ryan Newman is driving for KHI in the number 4 truck tonight. And one of the coolest things in the setup tonight, a really cool piece where Rick Crawford flew with the Blue Angels. He fulfilled a lifelong dream. He will try to fly around this racetrack tonight. That is, if some of these dark clouds move out of the way. So that's it for me. I'm going to now pass the torch up to you guys in the booth. Rick, Phil, Michael, take it away.
Thanks a lot, Krista. And again, welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway. Now, Phil, what do you think would be the biggest variable that we're going to see tonight?
Well, I think the crew chiefs are going to have to revert back to the 9 o'clock practice, because they really felt like, as cool as it was and overcast this morning, that was going to be pretty representative of what the racetrack is going to be like tonight. It's probably not going to be at the beginning, because we just saw the weather 81 degrees, so it's probably going to be a little slicker when we start this race. But once we get into the night a little bit and the temperature starts cooling off, it's going to be back like it was at 9 o'clock, and then they'll have some good notes to go by. But pit strategy is going to be really key here too, because we have new pit rules this year. You can't change tires and gas at the same time, so what do you do and when do you do it?
That's exactly right. A quick race, 200 miles. These trucks are running close to 170 miles an hour in race conditions. It'll go by quickly. Don't make any mistakes late. It doesn't really matter where you start. I don't think. You just have to make sure you're on your game by the time halfway rolls around. Oh, and maybe keep an eye to the sky as well.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to be keeping an eye to the sky as it looks a little inclement off to our east. Let's get the engines fired up. Let's go down for tonight's command.
Now, race fans, it's time for the most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Mike Calvert.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
The engines are fired up. We're fired up. We're ready to see some green flag racing from Lowe's Motor Speedway. 36 trucks have come to life. They're about to make their way around this mile-and-a-half racetrack. We'll see the green flag when we come back.
It's a place full of comfort.
It looks like he's got more truck than anybody else in the place right now.
The landscape breeds confidence.
Beat and bang, root and gouge, swapping paint, changing numbers in the middle of the back straightaway.
A relationship of familiarity. Here, fears are vanquished.
Top 10 single file. Wait a minute, they're already breaking on the line once again.
And when the green flag falls,
roll up your sleeves and put up your dukes.
It's about to get physical.
It's where you'll find yourself. It's home sweet home.
Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway here in Concord, North Carolina, as we're about to get underway with the 6th race of the 2009 season. It's North Carolina Education Lottery 200. The 36 trucks are just now rolling off of pit road and taking their place on this mile-and-a-half racetrack. It's 81 degrees, so temperature's still up there.
North Carolina is known for hoops and horsepower. For teams, this is a home game. They know every bump, every bend of this mile-and-a-half venue. It's All-Star Week. A lot of hype surrounding these races, but the only race that matters belongs to the All-Stars of the Truck Series. Truck Series All-Stars Crafton, Bodine, and yes, Rowdy Bush is in the field. Another Cup counterpart, Ryan Newman, in this race, but they're all chasing Mike Skinner, the current points leader. Ask a driver why he loves racing here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. He'll tell you it's because he gets to sleep in his own bed. Ask a race fan why he or she loves this track, and they'll tell you it's because it's NASCAR's backyard. Get ready to jump on the jungle gym. It's time to get set up. There is something in the air tonight, and no, it's not just the smell of Rick Allen's hair gel. Hello, everyone. I'm Krista Voda. Welcome to the setup from Lowe's Motor Speedway. This is the weekend where Cup drivers get to let their hair down. But tonight, the Truck Series drivers are about to make your hair stand on end. Why is this race any different? Because, like we said, this is the center of NASCAR's universe. And what does that mean? It means so many eyes, because it's All-Star Week, are watching the Truck Series drivers tonight. Ray Dunlap and Adam Alexander have been working the Truck Series garage. They are on pit road. Ray, let's start with you. What's happening right now?
Well, Krista, the guys are getting ready to go racing tonight, but earlier today here on Speed, we were going to show you all of qualifying live. The only problem was it rained and we didn't get qualifying completed, so they set the field by owner's points. Now that affected a couple of drivers significantly. How about Colin Brown? He was third in qualifying at the time, and David Gilliland will start tonight, and he had a really good run in qualifying, but it all gets wiped out. And guess what? Neither of those drivers will start tonight in the top 15. Adam?
Ray, if you follow the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, there is one name you should be familiar with after Kansas. That would be Brian Eichler. He filled in for Kyle Busch in the team truck. He should run somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 races this season, and he's got a busy weekend ahead racing here tonight, and he'll run the Camping World East-West combo race this weekend at the Iowa Speedway. Phil?
Adam, I want to take a look at a guy making his second career start as well, but it's David Gilliland. And yes, that is the David Gilliland that has Sprint Cup experience. He finished second last year at Infineon Raceway for his best ever career finish in the Sprint Cup Series. He also won a nationwide race in Kentucky, and that put him on the map back in 2006. He ran a truck race at Las Vegas back in 2005, finished 22nd. He's going to try to run several of these races for TRG Motorsports, the same team that he runs in the Sprint Cup Series, doing double duty this weekend. Going to try to make his way into the All-Star race tomorrow night, but he will start from the 19th position here tonight. Michael?
Starting just to roll back, there's old Jason White. As you know, I'm a big fan of Jay White. He's all about him some racing. Grew up in Virginia where he won 6 Virginia state titles in go-karts. He used to race against Denny Hamlin. He said, I got Denny Hamlin, I can cover him. He's making his way in the truck series. In his 59th start last week, or a couple weeks ago at Kansas City, he got his career best finish of 10th. On a little bit of a roll here and looking for big things tonight.
We're going to ride along with a few different trucks tonight. One of those is our defending series champion. He is going to be carrying our Toyota on board tonight. That's Johnny Benson we are going to ride along with, and tonight Johnny Benson will start 6th. Again, that's based on owner points.
We're also going to ride along in that 4 truck. Ryan Newman trying to go where only one driver previously has gone. He's trying to win his first 2 career starts in the Camping World Truck Series. Ryan Newman will start back in the 20th position in the 2nd KHI truck as a teammate to Ron Hornaday.
I got a Blue Angel. Oh, Rick Crawford riding around in the truck with him. You know, he said it was a lifelong goal of his to fly with the Blue Angels. It's a lifelong goal of mine not to. That looked crazy. He passed out in there. How you want to do something to make you do that? This should be a much smoother ride for Rick. We watched that truck in practice. He had a very good handling truck. Look for good things out of Rick tonight.
Dream came true for our next driver that will carry one of our cameras. Matt Crafton found victory lane here 1 year ago. We will ride along with him today as he starts in the 5th position. Field rolling around the racetrack, and they're still being led around by 2 pace vehicles. The main pace truck in the front, and the second bunch is now going to catch up to the first. Let's catch up back on pit road with Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, just any series that you see Kyle Busch competing in, you know that he's going to be very, very good. And even when he comes to this series, he's pretty good. And he's extra good whenever he's in this truck. This is chassis number 11. Now, Kyle's won 11 races, and 9 of them have been in this specific truck. But let's look at a year ago. In 2008, he started out great. He won at Fontana and Atlanta. But then things in this chassis number 11 didn't go so well the rest of the season. Well, what has he done this year? He started out just the way he did a year ago. He won with this truck at Fontana, he won with it at Atlanta, and tonight the rest of the season begins. Adam?
Ray, closing on 8:30 Eastern time here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte. And if you think you had a long day at the office, think again. As you settle in to watch the Camping World Truck Series race for the 6th time in 2009, check out what their day has been like. A one-day show for the trucks. It all began at 7:30 when the garage opened. 9, the first practice of the day. Final practice at 10:20. Qualifying in the middle of the afternoon. They were at driver intros just under an hour ago, and now finally the biggest part of the day, the green flag set to go in the air, and of course the best way to end it in victory lane. One of the drivers on track will celebrate there later tonight.
It is a long day, I have to admit. I've shaved twice today already. Once before coming here and once before going on the air once again.
I think we've already had a wreck, Rick.
That's Chris
It looks
Jones
like
right
we've got
there, the
damage on the 87.
87 truck. He's got a lot of damage to the front end of that truck, and we had the 48 truck on pit road.
He's got the whole right side tore off that 48 truck.
Yeah, that's the right side of Brandon Nutt's truck is torn up. So obviously those 2 trucks got together. More than likely one of those drivers was trying to warm his tires up, and and ran into the other one.
We see that all the time. The drivers weaving back and forth, getting the tires warmed up, getting anything cleaned off of them.
That's major damage there. He can't go racing like that, can he?
That's pretty significant right there. And they're out there. They're running about 50 miles an hour, and they've wrecked. And we're getting ready to go 180 miles an hour here.
I'm afraid that's going to be a little bit of what's to come. These guys are going to be hard on the gas, and you're going to see a lot of action.
Like we see all the time when we come to Lowe's Motor Speedway. We've had 6 previous races here. Kyle Busch has been to victory lane 2 times. He's the only repeat winner in the field this evening. So we'll find out if Kyle Busch can make it 3, or can Matt Crafton get back into victory lane here at Lowe's Motor Speedway? Or will we have another first-time winner in the Camping World Truck Series? We're about to find out. Green flag in the air. We're underway.
Great start by Kyle Busch. Pulls way out in front of Mike Skinner. Ron Hornaday going to try to take the second spot from Skinner.
We talked about how difficult it is to maintain that bottom line when you got someone up on the outside of you. When they get down to turn 3 here, there's going to be several trucks side by side. Be interesting to see if they can all get through without getting sideways.
What a run Skinner had on the high side of the racetrack, going down the backstretch into 3 and 4. Let's see if he takes the lead away from Kyle Busch.
Looks like he's going to get it from the outside.
Wow. Hornaday jumps in behind him. He'll take second away from Kyle Busch, or at least try. He's on the outside of him as they go into 1 and 2. Up the racetrack goes out of 88 of Matt Crafton.
Yeah, he did just what we talked about, Rick. The thing got really loose down on the bottom. Luckily, he had room to slide up. There wasn't another truck out there that he ran into.
Chad McCumbee, the 07, was behind him. There was a little bit of a gap, and Chad saw him coming, backed off a little bit, and let him go.
What a huge run Mike Skinner had. And Ron Hornaday jumped in behind him, and so those 2 trucks moved out to 1st and 2nd. Kyle Busch drops back to 3rd. Todd Bodine is 4th. Matt Crafton running 5th.
Look at Ron Hornaday's truck below the white line down there.
And you know, we talk about this track being ever changing and how sensitive it is to weather. The second lap of the race, Mike Skinner ran a time that would have made him 2nd in qualifying earlier. He ran exactly what he qualified earlier. That tells you how much grip is out there and why these guys are so hard on it.
And again, it's 81 degrees. It's a lot warmer than it was when they practiced this morning. We saw it get about to 70 earlier today, but they haven't been on the track in these conditions. They started in qualifying, but then the rains came.
And there's something about the fact that the sun is not beating down on this racetrack. You don't get the track temperature, as we see Johnny Benson and the 1 truck try to get by Terry Cook and the 25 truck on the inside.
These guys have to run so hard through the corners, Bill. It makes it really difficult to figure out how to pass someone, because you need all the room down in the corner that you can possibly get in order to make it through there as much gas as you've got to give it. I mean, these guys are right on, wide open all the way around this track.
Again, we have the tapered spacer in the Truck Series, so it limits the amount of horsepower. That's what we talk about a lot of times. You'll see them on the gas all the way around these 1.5-mile racetracks, but as soon as the tires wear just a little bit, we'll see them breathing in 3 and 4 a little bit more than we do in 1 and 2.
Yeah, right now, as Michael said, they're running laps equivalent to what these guys have qualified, even faster than what some of them had qualified.
2 team trucks running together there. Rick Crawford, James Busher. Crawford in the 14, James Busher in the 10.
Right there, that's the way to race smart.
Battle for 4th right there. Todd Bodine, the 30 truck. Matt Crafton, the 88.
I think his spotter said way to race smart. Sound like Matt might have been up on the outside of Todd and just decided to give Todd a little bit of room. No sense in taking any chances right now, Rick.
Yeah, Ray, what's going on with the 88 team?
They're bottoming out, Rick, and I'm just wondering from Michael and Phil their thoughts about we're already to lap 6. They should be at full air pressure by now, wouldn't you think? He's hitting the track, and Matt is saying it's jumping around a lot.
Well, we saw sparks from beneath a lot of the trucks, and you, like Ray said, after 5-6 laps, you think that's probably going to go away.
But the track right now is so fast, and I think it's faster than it was this morning.
Let me know what you're going to do. They do some air pressure, probably some range out of the left wing.
These guys are all trying to figure out exactly what to do to their trucks.
Yeah,
we need a little air pressure. What do we need to do right now?
A lot of questions early on in this race. Things have changed, and you talked about it earlier, Phil. A lot of different variables they're going to have to deal with. Adam Alexander.
And we just heard Kyle Busch on the radio communicating with Doug George, his crew chief, talking about where they need to go when they pit for the first time. Tight, the early word for him. And when he lost the lead early in the race, he said the reason why, he forgot what he was driving. And I guess you can't blame him on that. This guy will drive anything from pole to third in the first 9 laps.
So Kyle Busch has dropped back to the 3rd spot. It's Mike Skinner and Ron Hornaday out in front of this field. And that is the difference between where Kyle Busch is running and where the 2nd place truck of Ron Hornaday as he chases that truck up the racetrack. We're underway at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Stay with us.
Racing better, I don't agree.
Make it a weekend of fun with the family and friends at Michigan International Speedway. Sprint Cup tickets start at $40 and kids 12 and under are free. Call 800-354-1010 or log on to MISSpeedway.com for the June 14th LifeLock 400 at Michigan International Speedway.
You know, but the day before that LifeLock 400, we're going to have a truck race up there. You remember last year, Eric Darnell beat Johnny Benson by about 1 3/8.
That was about as tight as we've seen here in the Truck Series.
What a great race, always at Michigan.
Speaking of tight, look at these first 3 trucks. Lap after lap, they're basically matching each other on lap time. Kyle Busch over the last few laps, though, Phil, has gone to the top of the racetrack. See his line? Way up the hill. He's moved his line around. Last time by, he finally made some ground on these guys. Picked up over 0.2 of a second. Watch where he goes down here in 3. We talked about how guys will run high, guys will run low. Kyle's one of the first takers on that high side.
He gained a lot. That was very close to his fastest lap lately when he moved up there and ran a 30.59. Mike Skinner, our leader, ran a 30.79. That lap Skinner ran a 30.92. Kyle ran another 30.57. So look at this. Look at Hornaday go for the lead on the bottom.
Hornaday trying to take it away from Skinner as they work their way down the backstretch.
They're coming up on a lap truck there, and Skinner's perfect shape, and Hornaday barely squeezed in between he and Kyle Busch.
You can throw a blanket over the top 3. Kyle Busch looking to the outside now, and Ron Hornaday for 2nd. Adam Alexander.
Now, Mike Skinner has been quiet on the radio in the early going, and I guess part of that may be because the airwaves have been opened up for his spotter who's been walking him through this lap traffic. He's doing a nice job of staying in the lead right now. He complained about this truck a lot in practice, but you know what? He did that exact same thing in Kansas, and he went to victory lane. So far, so good for the point leader entering here at Lowe's.
He saw Kyle Busch gain on him up there, and he moved up to take that lineup. Now, look, Kyle was going to try to go on the bottom, couldn't quite get by Mike Skinner. Mike Skinner said, if Kyle Busch, if you can run up there, so can I.
Mike was like, what do you like about that so much, Kyle? I got to go up there and find out. He moved right into Kyle's line, and Kyle can't go anywhere. He's going to have to pass Mike on the bottom, and that's a tough row to hoe down there.
Mike Skinner said, I'm going to get me some of that up there. And sure enough, it has worked out for him as well. Kyle Busch has not been able to gain ground, and now we're on Hornaday peeking back to the inside of Kyle Busch. So Hornaday trying to get back into that 2nd spot. It's been all Mike Skinner up front, though, since the drop of the green flag. Take a look at this side-by-side racing. That's Ryan Newman in the 4. On the outside of him, the 16 of Ryan Scott.
These trucks have been together since the very beginning of the race, all in this little pack here, this little wad.
Double A, what have you got?
And Ryan Newman, of course, started in the 20th position. He would have been in the top 5, but with the qualifying rained out, it put him behind the 8 ball. Tight is what he's saying in the early going, despite the fact that he's advanced 5 spots in the first 20 laps.
Hornaday got all the way up beside Kyle Busch on the bottom down in 3 and 4. Watch this. He was able to drive under him, but he couldn't complete the pass. Check out this action, Phil.
Yeah, right down on the bottom. We've seen the outside groove work really, really well. Hornaday has to get out of the throttle, can't get back to the throttle, and Kyle just drives back around him from the high side.
Looked like his truck started to pick up a little bit of a push in the center of the turn. He couldn't hold the gas down. Kyle made a move around the top.
Here comes Busch looking to the inside of that 5 of Mike Skinner, trying to take the lead back. Again, Kyle Busch started on the pole because of owner points. Mike Skinner started on the outside. Skinner has the run now and has been able to lead every lap.
I love how Mike Skinner made the adjustment. He saw Kyle Busch running the high side of the racetrack. Now he's going to experiment a little bit back down to the bottom of the racetrack. He moved up there. His lap times picked up, and he was able to keep him behind him.
He's not going to like what he saw about his adjustment there. He went to the bottom. Kyle Busch made ground on him all the way down the front straightaway. Got to the inside. He's going to try to move up the hill. Mike's going to stick the nose in beside Kyle.
Kyle's going to get it. He takes the lead away from Skinner, but can Skinner come back on him?
He gave Skinner just enough room up there.
I don't think it mattered whether he gave it to him or not. Skinner was going to get his.
Oh, look how loose he got.
A handful for Kyle Busch. He slides up behind the 5. Here comes Hornaday taking second away.
These things are really tough to drive side by side.
We may not see Kyle venture down to the bottom of the racetrack for a while.
He said, that's pretty good up here now that I think about it. But he can't get the lead up there. Mike's squeezed right up next to the wall. There's nowhere to go.
Watch this now. Watch Kyle Busch down on the bottom of the racetrack. Going to try to get the lead away from Mike Skinner. He gets it to the white line. Now watch the back of that truck. Right there. Then he has to chase it up the hill.
As he's chasing, the 33 of Hornaday was going to try to take advantage, but he couldn't take the second spot away. Side-by-side racing here. Taylor Malsom in the 81 on the bottom of the racetrack.
He's trying to take that spot away from Stacy Compton.
Okay, bud, just get back in line. You'll get him.
Anybody that's down on the bottom of the racetrack and is able to pull off a pass, they're doing a heck of a job if they can get that truck to stick well enough down low and complete the pass. We haven't seen it done too many times tonight, Bill.
Sure haven't.
Ray, what's happening with Taylor?
Well, they started out the race with
Problems, right? We've got problems on the racetrack. The 17 of Timothy Peters into the inside wall.
Remember, he was that group of 4 trucks that we were watching.
See if we get it started.
With Ryan Newman and the 16 of Brian Scott.
Under Brian Scott. Looks like it sucked the air off of him.
Yeah, Phil, you had hit me in the arm about 4 times pointing at those guys. You knew that was a troublesome pack all together. They're wadded up. Again, he was down on the bottom of the racetrack, and he just didn't have the grip.
And that's what we heard from the crew chief and the spotter there for Timothy Peters. They said Brian Scott was just on the outside. We're on the bottom. You lose the air on the spoiler. Take another look.
Here it is. We see it so many times. Gets down in the corner pretty good. Then he bottoms out. Watch, he has to chase it up the hill. Now he gets really close, and that's when you really lose that air. And there he just lost the air off that rear spoiler, and around he went. Pretty significant contact with the inside wall.
For most of that corner, he thought he was okay. You know, he got down on the inside. It made a pretty good turn through the center, but as it exited, it washed up, got right next to the 16 of Brian Scott. He couldn't hold on to it.
If he could have maintained that several feet in between he and Brian Scott, he probably would have been okay. But once he got out next to Brian Scott, then all the downforce went off the back of that truck.
Unfortunate for Timothy Peters. Our first caution of the night has come out. It's been all Mike Skinner out front. You see Timothy taking a look at that truck now as he will climb into the ambulance. They'll take him into the infield care center.
You know, we've been following the story of this team. A great start to the season, shoestring budget, making it work. And this is just a huge setback. A good running truck, a truck that was really fast, and it just got away from him on the exit of the turn.
Again, he was on the inside wall, hit that wall, and then he's kind of caught it here, but he'll slide up into the outside wall and do a little bit more damage.
Yeah, Brian Eichler did an awfully nice job to avoid Timothy Peters.
And you have to appreciate what Brian was trying to figure out.
Which way is he going?
Timothy was going every which direction and didn't have any control of his truck. So he did a good job of just evaluating what Timothy was doing and then making a decision late.
Let's go down to pit road. Ray Dunlap.
Well, the call was from Bud Haefele originally. Let's do fuel only here and get some track position. Matt Crafton told him, I don't think that's good. I want to have tires right now. We can make other decisions later. Here comes the 88. The guys are going to go to work and put tires on this thing. He'll come back for fuel after this. Now to the front of the field with Adam.
The leader is Mike Skinner. It's going to be 4 tires on this stop. Slight air pressure to stay in front of the racetrack. Middle of your screen, Kyle Busch is in. He enters in the runner-up position. Tight is what he's complaining of. They too will make an adjustment with air pressure and come back for fuel, and we will watch watch to see who wins the battle off pit road. Johnny Benson, the first down, followed by, it looked like Chad McCumbee in the second position. All these guys will come back for fuel.
The first time the race off pit road, well, it's won by Johnny Benson. We'll see how they do the second time they come around when we return to Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Back at Lowe's Motor Speedway, and Matt Crafton has come back to put fuel in this time. They did tires first, and a whole slew of trucks are doing double dips. They come in one time for fuel, back another for tires.
That was Matt Crafton coming back in for fuel. He did tires the first time. We saw a lot of guys doing tires on their first stop.
We can make it to halfway now, Rick. Weather's obviously an issue. Now these guys know they can race past halfway with this fuel and tires.
Halfway is lap 67. We've completed 28 here at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
It's Camping World's Destination Recreation.
You know, each week on Camping World's Destination Recreation, we try to show you some of the neat things that Camping World has to make your RVing experience a little better. But what do you do when you need service on your unit? Well, you come to Camping World because every one of their locations has a service center, and they've been the #1 service provider for RVers since 1966. Did you know that Camping World installs and services everything for your RV? And most locations have a nationwide collision and repair center. And now many stops have a new RV spa center. They can help do a hand wash or wax, exterior cleaning, window cleaning, tire dressing, wheel polishing, just about whatever you need to make your unit shine. There's also extended RV warranties available. And don't forget, Camping World installs and services everything for your RV.
Welcome back. You see the skyline of uptown Charlotte, North Carolina, just a few miles to the southwest of us. Ben Stenzel in the 63 receives the Aaron's lucky dog, so he gets a lap back on this very early race. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. Our first round of pit stops are complete now, and we had a few violations take place down there, didn't we, Ray?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, Rick, it's so interesting to cover the pit road this year with the new rules that we have. It really keeps us hopping down here. But look at Colin Brown. That Conway truck has gone all the way up to second. Little track position game these guys played. And the reason is they took fuel only, did not come back for tires. So just one pit stop for truck number 6. Adam?
A couple other guys at the front played that same strategy. Kyle Busch coming in here. Why would he come in when he was running in the top 5? Because they were penalized. When they came down for fuel on their second stop at lap 28, they had too many men over the wall. They were going to go to the tail end of the longest line, so why not come down and fuel the truck? Mark down lap number 32 is when they did that. That could play big dividends if we have a long green flag run, despite the fact that they go to the tail end of the longest line. And then there's Mike Skinner. Kind of a bad news, good news situation for him. The bad news is on their first stop, they were penalized to stop and go. The good news is when they came back down to fuel the truck, that paid their debt to NASCAR as the stop and go. Therefore, they will restart in the top 5, and they will be the first of the trucks with 4 tires when we go back to green.
A couple of things, Phil, off this caution. Remember, Casey Kane won the All-Star race last year by not changing tires. Now, these guys up in the front, they must be playing the halfway strategy, saying, we get some track position now. Maybe we can hold this lead until halfway passes. Maybe we'll catch a range tire. Obviously, they can't go the whole race without changing tires. Another thing we talked about was mistakes. If you make mistakes, you better make them early. Skinner got away with a mistake there. Kyle Busch is back in the back, but it's early enough in the race. Despite the fact he started in the front, it's early enough where he can get his way back up through there.
If we go the full distance, if we go halfway, he's probably in trouble.
First few trucks didn't come back onto pit road a second time, only making one stop. We're assuming that was for fuel, so they can make it to the halfway point. Green flag back in the air. It's Chad McCumbee leading the field to the green.
Great restart by Rick Crawford. He dove down on the inside of the 6th truck of Colin Brown. Can he hold it down there?
You know, he held it wide open when he went down through there, through 1 and 2.
He's not going to clear him. He won't be able to do that in turn 3.
getting up to speed. Everyone going down the backstretch. Colin Brown able to hold on to that second spot. Now teammates side by side. That's James Buescher on the outside of Rick Crawford. Here's 2 and 3 wide just behind him, coming out of 4.
Taylor Molson was completely sideways and spinning through the grass.
And back out onto the racetrack in front of a few trucks.
Oh, Skinner gets clobbered. Skinner gets hit hard down into turn 1.
On his side is Mike Skinner, back on the wheels now. He got hit very hard.
He was. I'm okay. He got turned around after Molson spun off 4. I just happened to be watching it. He was sliding backwards, went up in the middle of the racetrack, and got clobbered from behind. But we heard him say he's all right.
Yeah, that was great news.
Yeah.
And that was Mike Skinner himself saying, I'm all right.
Adam Alexander.
He came on the radio, criticized another driver on the track, and you could hear the tone in his voice. He was okay, but the fierce competitor in him was coming out. And after a wild crash like that, you tip the cap to NASCAR for their safety and how well these trucks are made. And I tell you what, while it's tough on paper to see the point leader have a crazy crash like that, the good news is he's going to walk away. Amazing.
Man.
And race again in our next race at Dover.
They're looking for
a little bit disappointed, I'm sure, after coming off the Kansas race with a win, taking over the points lead. And now his night will end early as the red flag has come out here, as they will have to clean up this racetrack. We saw Taylor Molson get sideways just as they were going by our speed camera right on the entrance to the tri-oval.
And Skinner was ahead of that. And someone must have hit him from behind, because when I looked up, he was backwards in the middle of the front straightaway, and the thing went straight back up in front of traffic. And
it may have had nothing to do with Taylor Molson incident.
Yeah. Well, it could have been that Skinner had slowed down. Let's take another look. The caution lights are going to come on, I believe, when Taylor Molson gets sideways.
There's Skinner up ahead.
See him on the inside of the 13 of Johnny Sauter.
Oh, Sauter pinches him a little bit low.
Pinches him into the grass. Now watch
this. There's a white truck that clobbers him. Watch this.
Right there.
Very hard hit. Got completely underneath that 5.
Hard hit. Is that TJ Bell in the 11 truck?
I believe it is.
Take another look. There, Skinner was in the grass. Now you see the caution light come on.
See the roof flap goes up, and then TJ Bell. Ooh, wow.
He had no idea. TJ Bell had no idea that 5 was coming up the racetrack.
No, he couldn't. He couldn't. Even if he had it, there wasn't anywhere he could have went.
Nothing he could have done. This is real time. The 5 truck on the inside. Skinner gets sideways.
Just jumps around with him. You can see he's got his wheels cut to the right, trying to save it from it spinning, and he never got them turned back to the left. And when it got straightened up, it didn't have any way else to go except for into that outside wall.
A hard hit by Mike Skinner into the wall, and it was so comforting to hear him say, I'm okay.
See, Johnny Sauter had Matt Crafton above him. He moved down to give Matt a little bit more room and then squeezed Mike Skinner down into the grass.
I just can't. I'm just so happy Mike's okay. Look at that. That's terrible.
That's an unbelievable accident. I tell you what, that shot we just saw, there was a cameraman right next to the catch fence when Skinner got up into it.
Look at all this camera work the speed crew's doing. I mean, these shots are incredible. Watch this impact. Look how close the cameraman has this 5 truck zeroed in, and look at TJ Bell. Wham!
Wow, that is incredible.
Great camera work to capture that action.
Look at all the debris flying everywhere. A spring bouncing across down the racetrack on the outside.
What an unbelievable ride Mike Skinner just had.
Every now and then, as a race car driver, you're in a wreck, and you just it was unavoidable. And I don't think TJ Bell had a prayer.
No.
It happened so fast. I don't think he had a prayer of making any call. Look at TJ just ahead there in that white truck.
Ironically, TJ made contact with Taylor Molson to start that incident.
Easy. Can't help you a lot there. Go down. Go down. Come on back up. Come on up. Good job, buddy. Real good.
That was the audio from Johnny Benson, TJ Bell's teammate.
Randy Moss, the owner of the 5 truck that Mike Skinner was driving.
As well as the 81 of Taylor Molson. There's David Dollar.
That was a tough straightaway.
Partner.
Tough straightaway for old Randy.
Sure it was.
One truck spinning through the infield, and I'll be darned if the other one doesn't get just totaled out.
Our last race was so good for Randy Moss Motorsports, with Mike Skinner winning at Kansas and Taylor Molson having a good finish, and unfortunately not going to be a great one here.
You know, we talked to Skinner before the race. He said we just don't need to finish 34th. Well, a crash like that is going to put him back in at least 31st, maybe 32nd. So a bad night for the point leader, but darn, it's good to see that he got out of that truck and walked away. I just can't believe the violence. Did you see all this debris that flew everywhere?
Yeah, another thing there, the safer barrier cushioned a little bit of the blow when he went into the wall, but the construction of these vehicles is amazing. I mean, he was up on top of the 11 of T.J. Bell.
Well, T.J. Bell runs into the side of the 81 of Taylor Mossam. Must have got a little loose up under Taylor, spun him, but that didn't have anything to do with what happened to Skinner. Look at Jason White. He was all over the back of Kyle Busch.
I think he spun to avoid running into the back of Kyle Busch.
Did a great job of never getting it going the wrong direction.
Well, all that was happening behind.
There's Taylor Mossam spinning to the grass, and there's Skinner just going under our camera.
Taylor makes some more contact with the safer barrier. And this happens in front of Taylor Mossam.
Man, look at all those trucks trying to figure out where to go. And look at poor TJ. He didn't have a chance.
Wow. At the last second, it looked like he grabbed the wheel and tried to go left. And just Max Skinner was right there in front of him.
Adam Alexander.
And while all this was going on, guys, in the back straightaway, Kyle Busch, who received damage, got out of his truck and looked things over and has been continuous on the radio in conversation with crew chief Doug George, telling him what they need to do to get this thing repaired. You can see as you look at Kyle's truck now, the window net is down, and I believe what we're looking at is a live picture of Kyle. But a moment ago, he got out of the truck, looked at the damage on the left front, and it was almost, if you listen to him talk, it was almost as if he had a legal pad and a pencil writing down all the issues and the number of parts and pieces they would need to get this thing repaired. And you may remember the reason he was back there is because of that penalty when they came down pit road for fuel the second time at lap 28. Too many guys over the wall. So anytime you put yourself behind the 8 ball as far as track position, you know you open the door to being involved in an accident. And so Doug George has been on the radio talking to his guys, making sure everyone knows where they're supposed to be so they don't get penalized again and sending too many people over the wall. And Kyle Busch, very cool and calm behind the wheel and using his knowledge of the race vehicle to help his team when he comes down pit road for repairs. Here you see the replay. This reminds you of Sterling Marlin. Wasn't it in 2002 in the Daytona 500 when he got out, touched his vehicle under red? That's a no-no.
Yeah,
we'll wait and see if there's a penalty here for Kyle Busch. I'm not sure why there would be. He didn't touch it, didn't work on it. Well, he climbs back in, and now he knows a little bit better of what they need to do. And you can see there's a conversation going on now with Doug George and a NASCAR official. We'll continue to follow this as the evening continues. The drama of the crash, certainly first and foremost, but you know, in some way.
Adam, you mentioned Sterling Marlin. What happened there is he made adjustments, or he was trying to fix his vehicle under red, and you can't do that.
That, and also he wasn't planning on stopping again. He just wanted to pull his fender out so he could maintain track position. The reason why it doesn't matter really what Kyle Busch did is because he's going to come to pit road and they're going to work on that truck. Sterling was priceless. He climbed out of that car and he started working on it. And when somebody come up to him and hit him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, bud, you can't do that," he's like, "What? I didn't do anything." There's only like 100 cameras watching every move everyone makes.
And millions of people watching.
Yeah, that's I think now called the Sterling Marlin rule. If you get out of your car, don't touch it. Don't work on it. This is why we're under a red flag condition. Mike Skinner turned around into the wall, up on top of the 11 of T.J. Bell, rolls on his side, then back over the wheels. And the great thing is when he says and waves to the crowd, "I'm okay."
The Advance Auto Parts Advanced Look. From the beast to the monster. It's racing from the Monster Mile in 2 weeks. Will we see our first repeat winner at Dover? Or will it be the 10th different face in Victory Lane? Catch all the action starting with the setup at 8 p.m. only on Speed. Be there.
Under a red flag condition here at Lowe's Motor Speedway for the North Carolina Education Lottery 200 in Concord, North Carolina. It is NASCAR Day.
May 15th. And what an exciting event that took place actually yesterday, setting up this NASCAR day. There was a gift given to Philip O'Berry High School from the NASCAR Foundation, and they are always giving away money to charitable organizations. This one went to a group of students at Philip O'Berry High School for celebrating NASCAR Day.
It's awesome. I love to be able to help somebody. I mean, if it helps 2 of the students in here, they give them motivation to go work on a Camping World Truck Series, and that's what we're here for.
This is all about the fans. NASCAR Day is about the fans, and the NASCAR Foundation is they take the funds that they make from the NASCAR Day pin and all that. It's a huge deal, and it's an honor for me to be able to show up here with the check and say, hey, this is the NASCAR Foundation giving you a check for $7,000. It's a big deal.
Great event yesterday, and those kids were very, very thankful.
Well, there's so many things really that the NASCAR Foundation and NASCAR Day really helps, and that's just one of the instances. There's a number of the instances of the people that they help, and what a terrific thing that NASCAR does. And this is an all-day thing. Remember, you can log on, you can still donate,
right?
Make a pledge.
You can donate anytime, and so many people's lives are touched and enhanced because of the charitable giving that not only the NASCAR family, but also the fans and the folks that love the sport so dearly have always been givers. Go out of their way to make sure that they do their part in the charitable domain, and I'm real happy to be a part of this family, and NASCAR Day touches many.
If you missed it, they're fixing the wall where Mike Skinner got into that safer barrier, and let's take a look at what just took place moments ago here at the track.
I am totally in shock by this, Phil. This is as violent as I don't think it can get any worse than this.
And remember, these trucks at the start finish line are probably running 165, 70 miles an hour right after a pit stop. Taylor Malsom got a little bit loose up off the corner, but that was really separate. Johnny Sauter was moving to the inside. Watch this impact right here with TJ Bell. And a pretty significant impact with the outside wall by Mike Skinner. That broke the outside wall.
Mike Skinner was going to have a bad crash even if it weren't for TJ Bell. TJ just made it worse by hitting him at the same time that Skinner impacted that outside wall.
Well, one of the drivers that was involved in this is now standing by with Ray Dunlap.
And Rick, the good news is we can always fix sheet metal, but TJ Bell, are you okay? That was one incredible impact.
Yeah, no, you know, it's just a shame here. We had such a good visit, pit.com Toyota Tundra tonight, and we were coming through the field, few adjustments right there on that stop, and I'm just happy everyone's okay right here. I'm so proud of NASCAR for everything they've done to make the sport so much safer, and, you know, Mike being safe after that big of a hit, I'm just real excited about that.
Is there any way to put in words what something like that I mean, it went all so fast.
No, really, I mean, I had to watch the replay here to see what happened, but you know, it's just, you don't know what to do. Honestly, I was more worried about Mike than anything. I knew we were tore up. We weren't getting back out there. I was just hoping Mike was okay because of the hit he took.
All right, we're glad to see that you're okay, and Mike Skinner is now coming out of the care center right here. And Mike, I don't know if you've seen a replay yet, but that was really amazing.
Well, the replay that went on in my mind is I went to pass a truck that was a lot slower than us, and he run me down in the grass, and we spun and ended up hitting pretty hard. But yeah, that pretty much was it right there. Yeah.
But you get down there in the grass, and when you come up to the high side.
Yeah, that was pretty big. I just hate it for Ruin Zephyr and Toyota, and you know, we had a good year going here, and we didn't need this hiccup right here. It was just a really, really tough deal for us tonight. But you know, I blame myself. I knew who I was racing with right there, and I probably should have let off the gas, waited another lap.
Mike, have you ever had a hit any harder than that one?
Oh, I'm sure I have. I guess they'll get the recorder out of there, and you know, that was that impact that a few years back would have sent you off here in a helicopter with your head taped to a board. But the hybrid device did a wonderful job. The Butler seat did a wonderful job. My Bell helmet did a wonderful job.
We're really glad to see that you're okay. Mike Skinner walks out of the care center, so does TJ Bell. Now let's go down to the front of the field and check in with Adam.
Great to see that those guys are okay. And we talked earlier under the red flag about Kyle Busch and his situation. The crew chief is Doug George, and we showed the pictures of him getting out of the truck, walking around, surveying the damage. We'll look at him again here if you want to watch with us. But what did he say after looking at the truck?
Well, first of all, Mikizuki Resort Toyota is running really well, and kind of unfortunate we got a penalty with too many guys over the wall. But we just, we didn't know how much damage we had, so we jumped out to tell us what we had so we can fix it when he gets in here. And pretty minimal damage. It's just unfortunate we had to be there in the back after the penalty, but it is what it is. Truck's fast. I believe we can get back up there if the weather holds out. So looking forward to it.
My biggest concern was a possible penalty for exiting the truck under a red flag. You've had a couple of conversations with NASCAR officials. What have they said to you?
I mean, he didn't touch the truck, so, you're going to be under red flag for a while. A lot of times they let him out under rain delay, so no problem with that. They just wanted, when he gets back in here, when we go back to caution, to just confirm that he is buckled in, and we'll get the window net up the rest of the way, and we'll be good to go.
The time under the red flag is perhaps drawn another issue on a tire. What are you seeing there?
We had a tire action in that last run with a little hole in it, so we adjusted to what we had, so we kind of may need to rethink some of this here. So we'll see how things go, and hopefully get the Toyota Tundra back up front here.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks.
So again, the story. Mike Skinner hard into the wall. TJ Bell involved with it. They're fixing the wall.
Looks like they're about to wrap that up, Rick. We shouldn't be much longer.
Yeah, while all that was happening and when they were under a red flag, well, let's take another look. Again, that's Mike Skinner on the inside of the 13 of Johnny Sauter.
See, his wheels are cut all the way to the right as he tried to save that truck. And once it caught, it just hooked hard to the right, and TJ came along. As you mentioned, Michael, Mike was going to have a hard impact with the outside wall no matter what, and then TJ came along with nowhere to go and just turned him over.
You can see Mike was squeezing down on the inside of the 13 truck. Didn't feel like Johnny Sauter left him enough room, and that resulted in a violent accident. And Mike thanked the head and neck restraint in the seats, but darn, Dr. Sicking, Dr. Melving, NASCAR, Tony George, everybody that was instrumental in making these safer walls a reality. That's probably, in my opinion, the biggest step forward in safety since I've been racing, was a wall that doesn't just take your breath when you hit it. I never will forget the first time I hit one. I was like, oh no, this is gonna hurt. And you hit it and it said,
it did.
Well, it didn't hurt like it used to.
Not the softer walls, that's right.
After our first caution, Timothy Peters brought out. This one happened to bring out the second. Coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning. By Toro, count on it. And by Z-Max, performance you can feel. Tomorrow on NASCAR Race Day amps up the excitement for the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race. It's our biggest pre-race show of the year. Don't miss Gordon, Busch, Waltrip, and more compete in the Pennzoil Victory Challenge live. It's a must-see NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot live tomorrow, 4 Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. Be there. Cleaning the racetrack.
Aaron's
trucks are rolling, and
Aaron's is making the 87 truck have a really unexpected bonus. He's getting a free pass, Rick, back on the lead lap.
He crashed on the pace lap, remember?
Things are improving for Chris.
Things are getting better, and we'll be right back for the green flag. Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway. We're under caution after we have been under a red flag condition. Scene Daily and SpeedTV.com have teamed up to form the most powerful online news in NASCAR. Visit SpeedTV.com now for in-depth analysis, breaking news, and more. Fans had quite a show just moments ago. Let's go back down to pit road and Adam Alexander.
And you can see Johnny Benson's crew working on the front end of that race truck. That's because he lost the splitter in that mix-up a handful of laps ago, so that is where their focus is. He will go out and make laps, but unfortunately won't be able to be competitive because the aerodynamics of that thing will not be good for the remainder of this race. Tough break for the guy who was second a couple of weeks ago at Kansas, right?
Adam, let's talk about James Buescher a little bit. He's one of those drivers that came in for fuel only on lap 26. They did not come back down for tires. That got him track position. They're up to third right now. That's the really good news. The bad news is James is not feeling well. He says he has flu-like symptoms right now, and he said he's feeling very, very tired. So we've got a lot of racing to go. Hopefully he can stick it out.
I wonder how many G-forces he's going through right now.
I was impressed with Mark Martin at his age being able to stay up that late and win that race last Saturday night. That was impressive, wasn't it?
They're waving off the green flag, so we're going to take a quick break and come right back for the green flag of the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. Welcome back. Coming up on the start of lap number 41 for the North Carolina Education Lottery 200, expected to go 134 laps. It's Chad McCumbee that will bring the field to the green flag. Once again, we're underway.
They made it around one time after that last restart, Phil, and they were 3 wide off the corner, and that's when all that melee broke out. Look at them spreading out there off turn 2 already.
Hornaday looking to make it 3 wide. He's going to tuck in now behind the 30 truck of Todd Bodine.
Quick move to the inside. It looks like it's that 51 of Kyle Busch making the move back in the pack a ways.
Look at this pack of trucks at the front of the field, all over one another.
Chad McCumbee, Colin Brown, James Buescher. Matt Crafton's moved up to take that 3rd spot away from Buescher. Todd Bodine is 5th.
Here comes Skinner. Ron Hornaday on the outside of James Buescher.
Kyle Busch was down on the bottom the last time down the back straightaway. He's up top this time, picking off trucks one by one, heading back toward the front.
Adam Alexander, what are they talking about with Chad McCumbee?
Been pretty quiet, really, Rick, and it's too early to get anxious about an opportunity to go to victory lane, but this team certainly has been in this situation before. In fact, their closest chance to win a race a year ago when he finished 2nd in this event to Matt Crafton. Right now, McCumbee finds himself leading with great fuel mileage as Kyle Busch continues to slash his way back through the field.
So McCumbee actually looking somewhat comfortable out there in front. He's got about a truck length lead over the 6 of Colin Brown. There's some side-by-side racing. Ryan Newman in the 4, David Gilliland in the 7. Those two were very fast earlier in practice today.
I don't think Newman's quite going to be able to pull that deal off or close that deal. You can see there the 7 trucks got the momentum on the high side. Ryan's got his truck pinched down. Kyle Busch takes advantage of that.
3 wide as they go through 1 and 2. Kyle Busch on the high side. Down the backstretch they go. We'll see if that momentum will carry him past both trucks. It looks like it will.
You know, we have documented how well Kyle Busch does in this truck series. Actually, in all 3 series, but it looks like he has a ball driving these trucks. I mean, that move right there where he went 3 wide around there. Remember last year he passed on the apron. They said that's too low. So he passed up 3 or 4 wide. He said, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, listen to this. He didn't endanger anyone there. That was just a perfect aggressive move. He drove on the outside where no one was and made the pass. You know, David Gilliland was probably thinking, I didn't see that coming, but I like what he did. You know, when guys make moves like that, you appreciate it. You like what you see. Look at Colin Brown. He's doing the same thing to McCumbee up on the outside, and around he goes for the lead.
Yep, he's going to take the lead.
Yours.
Colin Brown now is our leader, and there goes Ron Hornaday. He takes a spot away, moves up into the 4th position.
There's Todd Bodine right there running along in the 5th position. New sponsor on board, Copart.
The Conway Freight number 6 out in front now.
This has been a great race. No clear-cut favorite. Look at Matt Crafton. He's driving around the outside of McCumbee. Those two are racing just like that, getting the checkered last year, Phil. This time it's Crafton around for the 2nd spot, bringing Hornaday with him. You got to figure that 33 truck is as fast as anyone if he can gain track position. Ryan Newman has went to the top side of the track to start to make some moves. We saw Kyle Busch making it work up there, so seems like right now the best place to pass for sure, and maybe even run, is that high side.
It sure does. We haven't seen very many passes made on the bottom of the racetrack. All the passes, it seems, have been made on the top of the racetrack, but we haven't talked about Kyle Busch that much. Kyle Busch is going to make him pass on the top and the bottom.
Yeah, we've seen him run about anywhere on the racetrack, but he hasn't had the success on the bottom of the track that he has on the high side.
We saw him early in the race sideways down there trying to make time on the bottom, and then when he got to Skinner, he couldn't pass Skinner on the bottom, and Skinner moved up top and he couldn't go anywhere there. So as he creeps closer to the front, these spots are going to get harder and harder to come by.
And remember, James Buescher is one of the trucks that has not put tires on yet. Fuel only on his first pit stop.
Ty Bodine going for that 4th spot. Up on the outside of McCumbee, makes that work. Chad might have to think about running up a little higher. get and do like Skinner did, adjust his line as he sees these other trucks getting around him. You can see right there, that's what he began to do.
Another one of the trucks that did not put tires on its first round of pit stops.
Here we see the 51 of Kyle Busch looking back to the bottom of the racetrack. Adam Alexander doesn't look like he's as comfortable down there.
Now the numbers are amazing for Kyle Busch. When we restarted this race at lap 40, Kyle was 16th. Right now he's going by James Busher. That is for 6th on the racetrack. Rowdy Busch on fire. It's taken him only 10 laps to get in the top 6, and there's no doubt about it. He's got plenty of room for more, Ray.
Adam, how about the number 7 truck of David Gilliland? He said he's just a little bit tight. He's trying to go to that high side and mimic what Rowdy was doing earlier. But David said, I can't believe how hard it is to pass when you're in a big group. I want to give a big shout out to the crew, though, the guys of the number 7. Realize we checked in here at noon on Thursday. At 4 o'clock on Friday, this truck was black, and it was all dressed out, ready to come to the track. Kevin Buckler, the owner of TRG, said, I don't want it black, I want it blue. And the guys tore that truck apart, took it to the paint shop, painted it, put it all back together in 11 hours and got to the racetrack by noon. What an unbelievable effort from the TRG guys. They got a blue truck, and right now Gilliland is moving forward.
I tell you, they've been tied together, Ryan Newman and David Gilliland, ever since this restart. One time one would be on the high side, the next time the other would be on the high side. Now it looks like Gilliland has a spot and Ryan Newman wants it.
Kevin Buckler must have really wanted a blue truck.
Yeah, to change it from black to blue, and they did it in 11 hours. That's an amazing job by that crew. Take a look at this run. Kyle Busch has got on Todd Bodine. Bodine in the Copart.com, number 30. Looks like he's going to run a little bit lower on the track than Kyle Busch. Busch will keep the momentum up and look to the outside.
Yeah, that's a situation where Todd knew that Kyle was coming. He pulled over and let him have that high line. Kyle makes the pass.
And you see Kyle likes that high line. He could have went back to the bottom there, but elected to run around the corner high. And you know, if you perfect that line, you get up there and you get where you like it when you're alone, certainly makes it a lot easier to pass someone when you get to them, because it isn't a surprise to you what you get when you go up there.
I know we're watching a lot of Kyle Busch right now. We can't forget it's Colin Brown that's actually the leader of this race, but ever so close to him is the 33 of Ron Hornaday. He has been like a hawk going after Colin Brown, all over the back bumper of him to try to take the lead away. Mike Beam watching his driver lead at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Could Colin Brown be another first-time winner in the Truck Series here at Lowe's? Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway and the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. The counting is about over. Tomorrow it's the All-Star Race, the 25th running of the Sprint All-Star Race, and it's all right here on Speed.
Less than 24 hours.
Less than 24 hours until the All-Star weekend culminates with that race. Let's do a top 10 drop back, beginning with Ray Dunlap.
Well, we'll start out with the leader in Colin Brown in that Conway Ford. Remember, guys, he would have had a top 5 starting position if qualifying would have happened, but that didn't matter. He started back in 17th. But the one thing we got to remember is he's on old tires. They only put fuel on the first pit stop.
Ron Hornaday currently riding second, Ray, and they have been conventional tonight. When they pitted at lap 27, they put on tires, came back for fuel at lap 28. He's been very quiet on the radio. They made no changes on that first pit stop. In fact, a moment ago, he told his spotter, Rick Corelli, be quiet and let me work. Right behind him, a familiar face. Kyle Busch has rallied big time from 16th to 3rd in just over 20 laps. That very impressive. And also figure this in. He pitted for fuel at lap 35. So should this stay green, he's got a little longer window than some of these other guys, Ray.
Crafton had gone a long time before he won his first race. In fact, it was 178 before he got to victory lane, but that happened 1 year ago right here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. But he is not driving the same truck that they had a year ago. This is one of their newer chassis, number 22. And Matt Crafton said this truck is great entering the corner.
Todd Bodine currently finds himself in the 5th position. That's good for him, but not as good as what you would expect. He is the king of the mile and a half. 9 times he has gone to victory lane. He reported a slight vibration 5 laps ago. He has cooled it on track. We will continue to monitor his progress, Ray.
Yesterday I asked James Busher if he watches our shows on Speed. He said, no, I'm not able to do that because I don't have cable. I said, what do you mean you don't have cable? He said, well, I just bought a brand new motorhome and I can't afford to pay for cable. Adam?
Ryan Newman started 20th. That after qualifying was rained out earlier today, but he has rallied as you would expect. 62 laps in, the Rocket Man riding 7th. He continues to say his truck just a bit free. Ray?
It's a big question whether TRG and this number 7 team will be at our next race at Dover. A lot of it stands on the performance tonight, and David Gilliland has got that truck up to 8th position right now. I think they'd really be happy if they could get a top 5. He's got a little ways to go. And right behind them right now in the 9th position is Stacy Compton. Now Stacy Compton really got a push, and that is his biggest problem. He's trying to get through the center of the corners, and then right behind him is the number 25 of Terry Cook. And guys, on the last pit stop, Terry Cook came in and said he had a terrible vibration. When they looked at the left rear tire, it had absolutely no wheel weights on it. I don't think I've ever seen a tire with none on it. Lucky for Terry to get in during that yellow.
Great work down there, guys. Thank you for getting us caught up with the top 10. We see a battle between teammates there. The 24 trying to make the pass on the 25.
Yeah, it looked like he was running out of room, too. Terry was moving up the racetrack, giving David some room, and David was chasing him up there. But Terry was able to get back in front of the 24, remain in the 10th position.
You know, if I'm those guys that didn't get tires at lap 27, Phil, I'm starting to get a little bit worried. We're going to have close to 100 miles on a set of right side tires. I know, granted, a lot of those were cautioned early, but still, that's more than a fuel run on a set of tires. That makes me a little bit nervous, especially at these speeds.
And what that may allow some of these other trucks to do, we know Colin Brown right now is continuing to run as fast as anybody on the racetrack. He has a little bit over a 1-second lead on Ron Hornaday. There he is right there in the Conway Ford.
And every lap, he's the fastest truck.
He's the fastest truck, but don't think that the guys that put tires on that first time around aren't realizing that too. Now they're saying, okay, we need fuel, but maybe we don't have to come in for that second stop for tires. But we know Colin Brown will more than likely have to get tires and fuels next time around, so he may lose some of this track position.
I just hope that right front tire doesn't wear out. That's asking an awful lot out of that right front Goodyear tire with the speeds they're running and as many laps that are on it.
Kim Lopez, the flag woman, just showed us the halfway sign with the flags. We've passed the halfway. The Conway Freight number 6 of Colin Brown has led the most laps he's ever led in the Truck Series at 23. Welcome back to Lowe's Motor Speedway here in Concord, North Carolina. There's Ryan Newman trying to get by the 30 of Todd Bodine. Newman in that 4, Todd Bodine in the 30. James Busher looking impressive in that Max Force number 10. Here's a battle for second, and yes, it is Kyle Busch making the move around the 33 of Ron Hornaday. Kyle Busch using that outside line very impressively this evening. Adam Alexander.
Rick, we told you a moment ago in our top 10 drop back that Ron Hornaday had been quiet on the radio. Well, shortly after that, he piped up and said, we're going to need to make an air pressure adjustment. I can't run the high line and be where I want to be on track. You can see him going low through the corner there. So they are already set to make the adjustment for Ron, and it's impacting his position on track. As you guys documented, Rowdy has now gone by for the runner-up position.
Well, I think he's right and needs to make an adjustment so he can run up high, because that appears to be where the trucks are making good time up high.
You know, you have to have that as an option. That's the only way you're going to be able to win this race. That's why Kyle Busch is second. He didn't have to pick between high or low. He could go both, but high needs to be an option.
We have to remember Kyle Busch was in the back of this field because of a pit road violation that they had. They had too many men, I believe, that came over. Or maybe it was a tire. I think they had the tire violation.
Too many men refueling.
Yeah, too many men refueling. And so he was to the back of the field. He almost got caught up in the big accident that took place. It was too many men that was over for Kyle Busch. So that was the violation that he was suffering. Now he's made his way all the way back up to the second spot, and he looks to be reeling in that 6 of Colin Brown.
Colin Brown keeps putting more and more laps on those Goodyear tires.
Ryan Newman, one of the trucks on the racetrack right now, is running faster than Colin Brown.
Still doesn't sound like he's overly enthused with this truck, but he's been able to drive up into the top 5, and he's a truck Phil, that has seemed to be really, he used the top side to pass other trucks, but once he got free at him, he's dove right back down to the bottom. What's he saying about his truck?
Michael, I don't know what you think of when you think of Ryan Newman, but for me, the nickname says it all. Rocket Man means put the green flag in the air and he's going to the front, and that really hasn't been the case tonight. Started 20th, he's up to 5th, and you just heard him say on the radio it's still tight. Well, that's off of turn 4. He's a little loose in corners 1, 2, and 3, so they've got a few issues to work on despite the fact they're running in the top 5. And then there's Todd Bodine. He was in the top 5 not very long ago, but he's dropped 20 positions, and that because the vibration he reported getting worse and worse. They would like to see a caution and an opportunity to get on pit road, Ray.
And when we go back to the front of the field, Adam, with the number 6 truck, the Conway bunch, remember, they pitted on lap 26 for fuel only. Now, Mike Beam just came on the radio talking with Colin, and he told him lap 90 is what we have circled right here, that we would have to pit if it stays green. Now, they would come for fuel only again if it goes green, but they're hoping it doesn't make it that way. We're going to lap 79 right now.
And because of the rules, they would have to come in for just fuel because you can't do both. And so if they're afraid of running out of fuel, you've got to stop for fuel first.
Well, and if you got to be responsible to your tires. You can't just run them until they blow out. I mean, right now, if I'm all these crew chiefs, I want to go find somebody from Goodyear and hug their neck and say, man, what a tire you put us on here. But it won't run forever, Phil.
It won't. And Colin Brown is going to have to put tires on at some point in this race.
And Michael, your marks, pull away. Nice clean air on the nose.
You made the comment earlier. You thought we might see a green flag stop. We're within 10 laps of seeing green flag stops here at Lowe's.
Well, when Phil made so much fun of me, I changed my mind. So I felt like this race would have a nice green flag feel to it tonight. And I think now that we've got over that crazy stuff early, it certainly has that. But Phil, we've got people on older tires right now and newer tires. That sometimes puts a lot of trucks side by side like we see here for the 16th spot with Brian Scott and Chad McCumbee. You get people on different agendas, different tires. You're going to get a lot of side-by-side racing. Side-by-side racing sometimes means a lot of slides and spins.
We're hearing that the 6 truck is looking to come in on lap 89, so we're within 7 laps of that happening. We could have other teams coming in earlier than that. We're inside that window now that we talked about earlier. Guys would be looking at making a pit stop.
This is nerve-wracking times, too. If you're one of the guys on the front side of that window and you come into pit road, you do not want to see that caution fly. As a race car driver, when they start talking about it's time for green flag stops, I get nervous just watching because I know what it feels like to be down there inside of one of those trucks and know you've got to come to pit road when maybe somebody else doesn't yet.
And we know that Kyle Busch last pitted on lap number 55, so he can probably go a little bit farther than Colin Brown can, and a lot of these other trucks on the racetrack as we watch a battle for 12th, Taylor Mawson and Johnny Sauter in a battle for 12th. And I'm telling you, and it never fails when we have green flag pit stops. As we see Kyle Busch now has chased down and caught Colin Brown, we're going to have some penalties. We're going to have some guys that are going to be speeding on pit road, and who will that take out of contention for this race?
The leaders are coming up on traffic. Like we said, Kyle Busch has been able to go high and go low. He decides to go low there as Colin Brown decides how to deal with the 23 of Jason White.
Jason White all the way up against the wall, almost blocking Colin Brown, so he has to move to the bottom of the racetrack.
I'd say that was more than almost blocking.
Yeah, I'd say pretty much was a legitimate block there. not intentional, but nonetheless a block.
Well, and he's on the lead lap. He had the line. He just took the line and it was able to, as it works out for Colin Brown, Colin was able to put a truck between he and Kyle Busch because of what Jason did. Now 2 trucks between them. So Colin did a nice job handling traffic right there. Dives down to the bottom of the racetrack.
And Colin has been one of the trucks that has been consistently running the bottom and running extremely fast laps.
There comes Kyle Busch. He splits between the 12 and the 23. So Mario Goslin and Jason White have Kyle Busch go right between them.
Remember, that's Chad McCumbee. He was one of the trucks that stayed on the racetrack, did not put tires on. The 10 truck of James Busher is another one of those trucks that did that, and he's battling right now with Todd Bodine for the 6th position, and Colin Brown, leading our race, has not put tires on yet.
I'm just, I can't tell you what an accomplishment this is before Goodyear, or by Goodyear, to put tires on these trucks that will go. Tires are only supposed to last as long as your fuel will, basically, and these tires have gone way past a fuel run.
We're hearing now the 33 is going to make the hard left turn onto pit road. He sure enough is on there. And so Ron Hornaday now on pit road. This is the very nervous time for them. They do not want to see a caution flag come out. Adam.
Lap 86 is when Ron Hornaday will come down for service. The word from Rick Wren, 2 cans of fuel. And it appears at this stage they will not take tires. And driving by him on the pit lane, his teammate Ryan Newman also running in the top 5 when he elects to come to pit road. Both would like to make an adjustment, but they're going to have to settle for fuel, Ray.
2 cans of fuel going in the number 7 for David Gilliland, and we also saw the 4 of Ryan Newman coming.
Problems on the racetrack.
And now the yellow flag is going to come
into the
out.
wall. The 16 of Brian Scott as well. Colin Brown continuing to careen off the inside wall. He was your race leader, and it looks as though he has problems, gets sent to the outside wall, and that brings our 3rd caution out of the night.
And what a horrible break for Ryan Newman and Ron Hornaday and David Gilliland.
All on pit road, and there you see Cat in the Hat, Jack Roush.
What happened there, Bud? I just got turned, man.
We heard Colin Brown say, I have no idea what I did wrong there. We'll have to check it on replay. I have no idea what he did wrong either.
We've always got a camera that follows the race leader. Here's a look from up above. Trying to get around the 16. It looks like he's moving to the inside, and that's Kyle Busch. Got into the back of him.
He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, Kyle Busch absolutely got into the rear of that truck and turned him into the outside wall, and then Colin came down and careened into the inside wall. Brian Scott was an innocent victim there as well.
I mean, Kyle just thought that he was going to get in behind the 6, and he totally ran into the right rear quarter of him and crashed him.
What a horrible break for Colin Brown. Here's Kyle Busch. He's trying to go around the outside. Colin Brown stays to the inside to move by Brian Scott. You see his nose on the inside of the 16 truck, so there's no way that Colin was up too high. No. And Kyle just ran into his right rear corner and turned him into the wall.
And you know, Colin Brown was so frustrated there. He's had a tough season, and he was doing everything perfectly.
Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, we're trying to get organized down here because we've got a lot going on. The 88 with Matt Crafton is going to be coming in, but right behind him is the 16 of Brian Scott. So they're trying to communicate with them to make sure the 16 is not going anywhere. Crafton's going to go with tires this time, and the 16 stayed out of his way. Adam?
Guess who came out smelling like a rose? The man top of your screen, Kyle Busch. They come in for 4 tires. The last I heard, no adjustments. They will come back down and get fuel. Doug George said they need just over 1 can to make it the distance. Left side tires going on for Busch, and with no problem at all, he will be the first off of pit road. Jason White, the 2nd man down and away.
This is going to be interesting, though, Phil, because the trucks of Hornaday and the 4 of that cat right there, they're only going to have to make 1 pit stop. So when they get ready to go back to 1 to go, when your leaders come back to recycle their 2nd pit stop, I think that'll put the 4 and the 33 in front of the field on the tail end of the lead lap, giving them a shot to get their laps back.
Yeah, and they will be able to line up on the outside line if they so desire.
Take another look at this, Phil.
The 6 of Colin Brown is going to pull to the inside of Brian Scott. You see Kyle with a run right there, and he just moves to the inside just enough to clip that right rear corner.
I think he thought he was just going to fall in behind Colin Brown and
maybe misjudged it a little bit.
Draft him past the 16, and he ran into the poor kid and crashed him.
I mean, I think absolutely no malicious intent right there. He was just going to try to follow Colin Brown, and it looks like he just misjudged it a little bit.
Ray Dunlap.
Well, this is our classic double dip here. Whenever you get a caution at this point, after you've been under a long green flag, you want to get tires and fuel. We'll see the 10 truck of James Busher come in, and the whole rest of the field all with them. We got about 20 trucks down on my end. These guys are all going to come in and get their 2nd round of service, and it'll be interesting to watch the race off of pit road. This entire crew will be done with their service. Now go back down to Adam.
Top of your screen, Kyle Busch is in, fuel only. Middle of your screen, the same for Todd Bodine. Bodine made adjustments on the last stop with 4 tires, hoping that would allow the vibration to go away. Busch pulls away, Bodine right behind him, followed by Brian Eichler and Matt Crafton. This service coming at lap 90.
The caution happening right here. Kyle Busch into the back of the 6 of Colin Brown, who was the race leader. Splits those 2, and he takes the lead. Welcome back. Let's recap what's taken place. Mike Skinner started on the outside of row 1. He was the leader of lap number 1 and then held on to it until our first caution.
Timothy Peters on the inside of Brian Scott loses the air off the rear spoiler, makes hard contact with the inside wall.
That makes you lose your mind too, man. Eichler making a nice move late, but I know Timothy Peters thought, darn it.
First problem for Mike Skinner. We're taking a look at the jack. It gets stuck and it goes out of the pit box. So equipment out of the pit box, that was a violation.
He had to come back in to make a second stop. That served his penalty, but then he got turned around as he got to the grass and hard contact with the outside wall and with the 11 of TJ Bell.
Oh, thank God for all the safety improvements we've had in this sport. Mike Skinner waving like that. That was a crazy crash.
Then a lead change. Chad McCumbee started out front. It was Colin Brown that was able to take that lead away. Now, he was only on pit road one time, and it was for fuel.
But here on lap 87, this is a battle for the lead. Kyle Busch gets into the right rear corner of the 6 of Colin Brown, turns him into the outside wall. He makes contact with Brian Scott, gets him into the inside wall. Colin also hits the inside wall, takes our leader out of the race.
And because of that move right there, NASCAR has said, Kyle Busch, you need to go to the back of the line. They're calling it rough driving, and so Kyle Busch will go to the back of the longest line to restart this race. That puts Todd Bodine out in front of the field. Matt Crafton right behind him in second. Taylor Malsom is third. David Starr fourth. And Terry Cook rounding out our top 5.
And just like we suspected or talked before all the pit stops were complete, the Kevin Harvick trucks are restarting first and second in line. And so they'll be in good shape to try to race their way back onto the lead lap here late in the race. If I'm Kyle Busch, I'm pretty happy. That's all the penalty I got for that. You know, that was a major mistake made there, and NASCAR stepped in and said, okay, we're going to have to do something about that. He can still win this race, though. We watched him do.
Oh yeah.
We watched the same story about 30 minutes ago when he went from the back to the front.
Yeah, we've got 40 laps remaining, and when we restarted last time, it was about in the 16th spot that he came from the 16th all the way up to the front and was running second, but before that caution happened.
Remember, the front 3 trucks on the outside line, Hornaday the 33, Newman in the 4, and the 7 of David Gilliland all on the tail end of the lead lap. They need to stay in front of the leader and catch another caution flag.
Oh, this is getting good, Rick. Got 3 trucks up front that are on the tail end of the lead lap before you even see your leader. Lead lap trucks on the inside, and our dominant truck all the way at the tail end of this line.
Green flag back in the air. It is Todd Bodine, your race leader at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
And no, that's not him out front. Right now, that's the 33 of Ron Hornaday. You see Todd, he's the 4th truck in line, that blue truck on the outside line.
David Gilliland just in front of him in the 7. Again, they are on the tail end of the lead lap. That's because they had come onto pit road prior to that caution coming out.
Now these trucks behind them, the Todd Bodine truck and Matt Crafton, they all have fresh tires. We didn't see that matter much. Colin Brown had driven away from the pack on his old tires, so might not be a big deal, but definitely fresher tires behind the trucks out front.
Keep our eye on that 51 as he's going to be moving up through the pack as he did earlier. Now he's right behind the 1 of Johnny Benson.
On the inside of the 60 of Stacy Compton. Johnny moves over. Remember, Johnny Script 3 wide here.
Take a look at this. David Gilliland again on the tail end.
Todd Bodine sideways.
Bodine goes around. He was your race leader, and into the wall he goes.
Back down through traffic. I hope everybody can dodge him.
Still coming. They're still
coming.
coming.
So close.
The 2nd race in a row that Todd has trouble, spins on the inside of another truck. Same thing happened to him at Kansas last time out.
That's costly. They got 3 wide down into the corner. Matt Crafton wound up on the very bottom of the track, and when you're in the middle, you're vulnerable.
A lot of damage to the inside of that truck. The driver's side door.
Big break for Hornaday, Ryan Newman, and David Gilliland.
All 3 of them got exactly what they were hoping for, a caution while they were out in front of the leader.
And that'll put the guy that ran 2nd here just a year ago, Chad McCumbee, should receive our lucky dog.
Adam Alexander.
Tough break for Todd Bodine, and this is 2 races in a row, and it's so hard to believe for a guy that has been so successful at 1.5-mile racetracks, and it is pretty used up. We saw that by virtue of what happened on track, but getting a bird's eye view, watching him pull into his pit stall, the back is crunched in by about 3 feet and major damage on the left front. Todd may be able to finish, but he certainly will not be competitive. This is the second guy in the top 5 in points entering this race to take a major hit here tonight.
Yeah, I don't even think, I think they're going to have to go behind the wall and work on that sucker.
There's another view. You see Todd on the inside of David Gilliland. Now Matt Crafton's going to make it 3 wide. Nothing wrong with that. You see he's down on the bottom.
And he even gave him the corner. He let off, and Todd went ahead and dove in the corner. And when he turned left, hard late there, Phil, there just wasn't any air on the right side of that truck. And watch this red truck. Oh, wow. So close. That's Chris
Jones, I believe, in the 87, did a nice job avoiding him. Here's another view. You see Todd, Matt Crafton backs off. Todd's going to get loose and wiggle, and then he chases it up the hill. The closer he gets to the 7 of David Gilliland, the less air he has on the rear spoiler, and around he goes.
And anybody in this field, including Todd Bodine, would have did what Matt Crafton did. Don't blame Matt Crafton for that wreck. He had a good run. He just shot down on the inside, and then he even backed off a little bit early and said, okay, you can have the corner. You beat me there. So Matt didn't do anything wrong. Todd's truck just got away from him.
Yeah, and Todd looked as though he was trying to stay away from the 7 of Gilliland, too. He could have went up the racetrack and made contact with Gilliland to save his truck, but he stayed out of that truck, and that got him spun around.
He just drove on down in the corner.
Clear everywhere. Come on. Dig. Great job. Come on. Keep digging. Caution.
So the 4th caution of the night has come out, and it's because of the damage to that 30 of Todd Bodine. That's 2 cautions in a row where our race leader was involved. The North Carolina Education Lottery 200 continues next on Speed. One year later, after Matt Crafton wins his first ever Camping World Truck Series race, he will lead the field back to the green flag when we restart the North Carolina Education Lottery 200 at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Take a look at this top 5. We've got Matt Crafton, we just talked about. Taylor Malsom right now running 2nd. Terry Cook 3rd. David Starr 4th. And James Busher 5th.
I love the job Terry Cook's doing this year. He's getting everything out of that truck he can possibly get. Running up in the 3rd spot right now. He's got his teammate right behind him.
Adam Alexander.
And let's talk a little bit about teammates of KHI. We're talking about Ron Hornaday and Ryan Newman. Both were trapped when they came down pit road under green at lap 86. They got fuel only there. They came back for tires when the caution came out a few laps later. They are back on the lead lap. Actually, we're never off. They were at the tail end of the lead lap, but now racing for position with everyone else. We'll see if they can make some hay as we get set to go back under green.
Oh, yeah, they will make some hay.
Matt Crafton, again, bringing the field to the green flag. We've passed 100 laps of racing of the 134 scheduled. It's lap 101. Crafton, Taylor Malsom, Terry Cook, David Starr, and James Busher, your top 5.
And oh, by the way, the truck running 6th is the 51 of Kyle Busch, and he jumps to the outside of James Busher.
Not for long, running 6th as he goes to the outside of Busher, trying to take 5th away.
And Hornaday is on it. He's following Kyle Busch's tire tracks, passing around the top side of turn 1 and 2.
Did not take long for Kyle Busch to get back up in contention of this one.
3 wide off turn 4. It narrows down here on the front straightaway. These trucks are going to have to work with one another.
We saw what happened to Mike Skinner when he got forced to the grass.
Everybody through the tri-oval clean into turn number 1. Matt Crafton checking out now.
Good laps here. Get away from these boys.
Taylor Malsom in the 81 running 3rd now as we've seen the 51 of Kyle Busch make the move all the way up to 2nd.
Man, these guys are being very aggressive. Of course, it's late to go and there's only 37 laps to go. You better be aggressive if you want to win.
He's got the 0-7 right behind Matt Crafton. That's Chad McCumbee. He is down 1 lap. There's Brian Eichler right there, the 15 truck. Another good effort for Brian Eichler.
How reminiscent is this? We've got Matt Crafton and Chad McCumbee running nose to tail around this racetrack. That's exactly the way it ended a year ago.
But they were on the same lap a year ago.
And I don't think you've heard the last of Ron Hornaday. That truck's coming. He's going to make himself known at the front of this pack here shortly.
He just drove by James Busher.
Took away the 4th spot, so Hornaday slips into the 4th position in his Longhorn Chevy Silverado.
Kyle Busch kind of
stalled out a little bit.
He didn't didn't continue to move forward like he was, for sure. He's running the high side of the racetrack, and you watch this 33 truck. Watch where he goes when he gets to turn 3. Straight to the bottom.
Hugging that wide line is Ron Hornaday. Remember, earlier he said he needed an air pressure adjustment because he wanted to be able to run the high side of the racetrack. That's where he thought people were passing.
He's making some passes. Whenever he comes to him, he's going to get by the 25 of Terry Cook right now. Remember, Hornaday, the freshest tires in the field, along with his teammate Ryan Newman in the 4 truck.
Closing in on the back bumper of that 51 of Kyle Busch now.
They both go around.
3.
The 33 and the 25 both make their way around the lap truck. Look at Hornaday down to the bottom on Kyle Busch. Can he make the pass low?
Remember these 2 trucks last year, they got together coming off turn 4.
Ron Hornaday makes the move by that 51 of Kyle Busch. He'll stay to the bottom of the track. Let's see if he can get by the 51 through turns 1 and 2. He's got him cleared. He takes second away.
Oh, what a truck.
What strength he's showing right now.
You're in trouble, Matt Crafton.
Here comes Hornaday looking for the lead. Down to the bottom of the track he goes. Crafton stays up high. Hornaday takes the point as they come out of 4.
He's talked about how good that truck is all day long. He loves it. Look at that. That's strength right there.
I'm telling you, I don't know what kind of adjustment Rick Wren may have made on that pit stop, but whatever. Look at him drive away from Matt Crafton. It worked.
It definitely has worked. And now Kyle Busch tries to take second away from Matt Crafton. He will do it. Crafton drops back to 3rd. Ron Hornaday out in front. Kyle Busch is caught back up to the 2nd position. And remember, he was running 2nd when Colin Brown was leading this race, and he got into the back of Colin Brown. Let's hear from Colin.
Well, he is out of the infield care center. That's the good news. The truck looks pretty used up. Your thoughts about what happened on the racetrack?
Well, you know, it's just disappointing, I guess, is the best way to put it. All these guys on my team put so much work into these trucks. I mean, all the hours back at the shop to get this truck ready to come race here, and you know, it's disappointing that something like that happens, but you know, I guess that's part of racing, and we'll go on from there.
And we got another spin on the racetrack, so the yellow is out. That's the 10 of James Busher has come around. Another tough break for Colin Brown. Seems like they just can't buy any luck over here with the 6 truck.
Well, James Busher gets spun around. It looks like it's going to be a 1-truck incident that brings out our 5th caution of the night.
Man, if you get a set of tires like Ron Hornaday got, maybe it isn't so bad to come in and get 4 right now, huh, Phil?
That's right. James on the inside of David Starr. Looks like he may have touched the apron there, slid up the racetrack, and again, same situation. He got close to the 24 of David Starr, just lost the air off that rear spoiler.
I think he got a little shallow into the turn, Phil.
Drove in a little too straight.
He hit the apron a little bit, clipped the apron. You can see the truck bottom out a little bit. It's been in front of you.
Been in front of you.
One of them's passing.
I'm going to let you go on that one. So out in front of the field, it's the 33 of Ron Hornaday. Running 2nd, Kyle Busch. Are there enough laps to come in, get new tires? Well, that might be the big decision for all the crew chiefs. Let's take a look at tonight's Advance Auto Parts Save of the Race. Got a couple of them. Take a look at the close call here by Brian Eichler in that 15. Whoa! Just got by the 17 of Timothy Peter. And then Chris Jones in the 87 avoiding the 30 to stay in the race. The save of the race was brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning.
And we have to give an honorable mention to James Busher for what all he's been through today. Ooh. He spun out twice, and then he finally did, and he still hasn't hit anything.
And that started this morning.
Yeah,
we had practice and qualifying where he about spun out, and he finally did in the race, but he's been doing a terrific job. He stayed on the lead lap.
Take a look at this.
Aaron's lucky dog. You can get your credit back at Aaron's, too. They're not only giving away laps, they're giving away free credit.
Chad McCumbee gets the Aaron's lucky dog. Adam Alexander.
It was a win-win for Chad McCumbee, the lucky dog, and he also had 4 tires left because remember, they only took fuel on that first stop of the night, so he's got stickers on for this restart with just over 20 to go, as does that guy, Rick Crawford. He too took fuel only on that first stop of the night, so those guys, players to watch outside the top 10 as we go green.
One of the best restart artists in all of NASCAR, Ron Hornaday, comes to the green flag. He's got Kyle Busch all over his back bumper as they restart here at Lowe's.
Ron Hornaday stays up. He's been really fast in the bottom, but he stays up. Allows Kyle Busch to get to the bottom.
Side by side down the backstretch they go. Kyle Busch on the inside. Ron Hornaday on the outside.
That was an odd. Ooh, look at Kyle Busch get loose on the inside. That's why Ron Hornaday took the outside.
I love that decision by Hornaday. You know, if Kyle Busch is behind you going into the first turn, he's going to get up beside you. Why let him get on the outside? You know you're going to be loose down on the inside. Ron just said, okay, drive up beside me. I don't care. I'm going to take the high side. You'll have a hard time passing me down there, I promise you.
And once we get settled out, I'll run the bottom again and open up the distance.
22 laps remaining here at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
His teammate Ryan Newman sitting back there in that 5th spot. He has fresh tires like Hornaday as well. Look for Ryan to run up through here.
Double A.
And under the last caution, Kevin Harvick, who's sitting on Ryan Newman's pit box, came on the radio talking to driver Ron Hornaday. He said, protect the top. They cannot pass on the bottom. And Ron said, thanks, boss. We'll see if the advice pays off, Ray.
It already did.
And guys, we want to hear from Todd Bodine. Todd, 2 races in a row with a DNF. I know that's a tough one to take for the points.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to get a wrecked truck 3 weeks in a row, including Martinsville. You know, we weren't the best truck here by any means, but we were going to finish 4th or 5th and get a decent points night. You know, right there, you know, Matt was going 3 wide, so I went through the middle, and I don't even know who's driving a 7, but again, whoever it was didn't give me any room and just got right tight on me and sucked me around. You know, these trucks are so aero dependent now. Somebody gets down tight on you like that, it sucks you around, and that was the 2nd week in a row that it's happened. We're going to have to look at our aero package and figure something different out. It's been this way for a long time, but you know, we got a lot of great trucks. Got a great race team, Germain Racing, a new sponsor in Copart, and you know, this is just one race. We got a lot of them to go, and we'll be back. We'll get them at Dover.
Unbelievable, the highs and the lows of this business, guys. The way this season started out, these guys couldn't have been any better. And now 3 races in a row with a DNF.
And that's a great job by Ryan Newman. He knows what happened to Todd Bodine. He knows how susceptible the truck on the inside is to spinning out. He took his time. He worked his way around that 25 truck up into that fourth spot.
Ron Hornaday checking out on Kyle Busch now, running 2nd. Back there in 3rd, Matt Crafton, last year's winner, looming. And here comes Ryan Newman. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World. Visit Camping World for all your RV service needs. By Touch of Gray from Just for Men. And by the Ford F-150. It's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. 121 of 134 laps.
This is a battle right here.
Yeah, this battle for 4th just won't stop.
I thought Ryan Newman had it. He was around the 25, and somehow the 25 drove back around Ryan, and Ryan has been on the inside of Terry Cook ever since.
And David Starr, Terry's teammate, is right there behind him.
Trying to dive down on you coming out of 4.
So Ryan's still trying to make this pass, and Terry Cook running that high line, able to hold him off.
There's David Gillen. Remembered he was in the exact same situation as Hornaday and Ryan Newman. Got tires when they did. Back on lap number 86.
The 24 is looking low. You clear.
Ryan was all over the back bumper of Terry Cook, Ray.
And what a night it's been for the Harris Trucking Group. Look at these guys working their way up through the field. Remember, I told you earlier that Terry Cook had those wheel weights off. He said this truck is so good right now on its entry. But remember, they wanted to bring the truck they had at Kansas last time, but they weren't able to do that. This is a different truck for Terry. It's one out of the old Bobby Hamilton stables. It's actually called Nitro. And here comes the 24, that Zachary Toyota, racing side by side. You know Jim Harris has to be holding his breath.
Both these trucks are racing inside the top 5. David Gilliland's going to try to mess that up. David Starr needs to kind of move over a little bit, maybe on his teammate. I don't know. I guess there's late in the going. He wants that spot, but he's in trouble now.
Coming up on 10 laps of racing. Remaining in this race, who's it going to be? Can Ron Hornaday hold him off?
Ron has over a 2-second lead right now. David Starr on the bottom in a vulnerable spot there.
He checks up. David Gilliland goes by.
Speaking for Mr. Harris when I said the 24 might ought to move. His trucks were getting awful close together there, huh?
Moving forward on the field. Again, it's the 33 of Ron Hornaday. He's got 2.3 seconds between himself and second place Kyle Busch. There you see the 51 of Rowdy. Then right behind him, it's that Menard Chevrolet driven by Matt Crafton running third.
And Matt's been slowly sneaking in on that 51.
Ryan Newman was actually the fastest truck on the racetrack that last lap, but he finds himself 5 seconds behind the leader and over 2 seconds behind the 88 truck of Matt Crafton.
Ooh, a little late race caution here would make it interesting, though, wouldn't it? With Ryan Newman back in that fourth spot.
Hear him calling for another spot. Get another spot. Keep digging.
Fastest truck on the track that last lap was this truck, the 88 of Matt Crafton. So both these trucks, second, third, and fourth, all three of those trucks are faster than our leader right now. We've got less than 10 to go.
Through the quad oval, that's the battle for second. Again, out in front of these two trucks, that 33 of Ron Hornaday.
Come on, fastest truck on the track right now. Come on, get by this youngster.
Talking about Kyle Busch. Get by Kyle Busch. The spotter giving the instruction to Matt Crafton in that 88.
You know,
Don't be talking, just show me driving. Come on.
Kyle Busch has won so much, it's hard to think of him as being a youngster, but I think he just turned 24.
Yes, just turned 24. And he was able to battle back after that penalty, that rough driving penalty. Restarted at the tail end of the longest line, has moved all the way back up to second.
They had a pit road penalty as well, and he was involved in a crash.
Other than that, pretty uneventful.
What else you need, Rick?
Well, it's been impressive, and it's impressive week in and week out.
Looks like Matt's truck got to Kyle Busch, but when he got there, maybe got a little bit of a push in the front end. It looks like when he's exiting the corner, it's wanting to push out.
Come on, you by 2/10 there. You ain't falling out of the seat, are you? Come on.
How about Taylor Malsom in that 81? Excellent job he's done this evening as he runs in the top 10 in the 8th spot.
Remember, he got spun out coming off turn 4, which what precipitated the Mike Skinner incident. I mean, it had nothing to do with it, but it happened simultaneously.
Same time, yeah.
I believe if I was Matt Crafton, I'd tell that spotter to be quiet.
He's up on the wheel. Stacy Compton in the 60. Another solid run for Stacy, running in the 9th position.
Great, good stories in that top 10, huh, Rick? You got Stacy Compton, Dennis Setzer is running 10th, Taylor Malsom up in there again. Both Jim Harris's trucks, Matt Crafton, the Harvick trucks. It's just a real solid top 10. Good runs for a lot of guys that really needed some good runs.
Yeah, and David Gilliland taking that TRG truck to a great run right now, running in the 6th spot.
At the start of the day, anyone watching the practices and qualifying would say Ron Hornaday is going to win this race.
That's why we don't do it on paper, right?
That's exactly why we don't do it on paper.
Because you couldn't have figured a way to beat Ron Hornaday, but they haven't either.
That's right. Ray Dunlap.
Hey, Rick, I think it's important to keep in mind that Taylor Malsom is making just his 8th start in this series and looks like he's going to get his career best finish if things go the way we're going right now. But realize their entire crew wants him to get more seat time, so he is going to get on a plane tomorrow morning and fly all the way to Seattle and go out there to run a sprint car. He does that week in and week out. For the last 4 weeks, he's gone to the West Coast to drive the sprint car, and whenever we get much more busy with this Camping World Truck Series, he'll focus on this 81 only. But right now, week in, week out, trying to get more time behind the wheel.
Battle for 11th. That's Rick Crawford and James Busher trying to take those positions. Their teammates. We've got 2 laps of racing to go. Ron Hornaday past the start-finish line. 1.8 seconds in front of Kyle Busch, so the gap closing just a bit. But maybe not enough time as Hornaday works his way through 3 and 4 and coming back out onto the quad oval.
There's the white flag. Just has to survive this lap, and he's got the victory.
1.5 miles remaining for Ron Hornaday. See if he can make it back into victory lane.
My point was, They had him a lap down at one point, Rick. They had that 33 truck a lap down. He came back from that, made his lap up, and now sitting there leading the race late in the going.
Last year, October, Texas, the last time Ron Hornaday was in victory lane. He's going to take the Longhorn Chevy Silverado back to victory lane at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Good job, Ron Hornaday. Good job, Rick Corelli. Great job preparing the trucks, guys. Awesome.
Win number 40.
Look at the
How about
teammates.
this? James Bush or Rick Crawford puts him into the grass.
Running into me.
Crawford was able to edge by Busher. It'd be interesting to hear what those teammates have to say about that.
Wow.
That's I'm not so sure that was good for job security there.
Well, you don't know what might have happened way back upwind. Who knows?
We kind of heard something from James Busher saying he kept running into me, but we didn't see all of that. How about Ron Hornaday winning a 40th Camping World Truck Series race in his career?
What a terrific career. Let's take a look at this battle between James Busher and Rick Crawford. Remember, this is for 11th and 12th, and these are teammates right here. Look at 3, 4, 5 times they make contact before they get to the start-finish line, and then Rick has to drive through the grass.
Ron Hornaday, the dominant truck all day. And you saw it all here on Speed. Hornaday will take his Longhorn Chevy Silverado to victory lane, and we'll hear from him next. Take a look at tonight's Touch of Gray winning moment. That 33 of Ron Hornaday getting by the 88 of Matt Crafton.
And that is a pass for the lead and the win by Ron Hornaday.
That was the Touch of Gray winning moment. Touch of Gray from Just for Mig. And then the Longhorn Chevy Silverado, that number 33. Kevin Harvick Incorporated truck making its way to victory lane. The guy who was runner-up is standing by with Ray Dunlap.
And that is Rowdy Bush sitting on the back of his truck. Kyle, an interesting night tonight. At least you had a chance to pass a lot of trucks.
There's no award for the most passed trucks there, Ray, but we certainly did that tonight. Just frustrating night. Some reason we had a miscommunication there in the pits. I don't know why we had too many guys over the wall. That's just uncalled for. That's unacceptable. And we figured it out what to do after that. I think we were even shy one guy every time almost. So just and then the 6 and the 16, I was rolling down the back and was rolling out of the throttle, and the thing veered to the left a little bit. That was my fault. So you know, just an error on my part. Just going to let those guys battle it out into turn 3. And I knew he had to pit in a few laps, so it wasn't going to be worth my while to take the lead from him. He was going to have to come to pit road for fuel. So unfortunate that our night really stunk that bad, and we finished second. So just can't keep up with the Chevrolets there. I mean, they just outmotored us. Ron was wide open there that whole time. I can't run wide open. So yeah, we're getting beat through the corners, but you can't run with those guys. I could barely beat the 88, so we know how good their stuff is.
All right, there's Kyle Busch finishes second. Now let's go to victory lane with Adam Alexander.
Ron Hornaday able to get a kiss from his bride, and now he will climb out into victory lane at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. He does it for the second time in his career. When it happened 2 years ago, lots of emotion because it was his first for he and crew chief Rick Wren at the home track. Doing it tonight marks the 40th time in his storied career that he's able to win in the Truck Series. Ron, congratulations. A lot to battle through. Career win number 40. How special is this one?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. But I have no idea where to start. I'll tell you what, go to your local GM store and get one of these bad trucks. They're fast, and I got to thank Rick Wren, Rick Corelli, everybody at KHI. They've been working their guts out. Danny Stockman, Cale Gill, you know, the 7 posts and what these guys have been doing, and especially our sponsors, you know. What do we got? We got Ream, Hungry Man, Longhorn. It takes everybody. We got VFW, Copart. It takes everybody to get these things out here, and I really, really appreciate how cool it is tonight.
A great truck all day long, but you pit under green, and you end up going a lap down because the caution comes out. Were you concerned at that point you weren't going to have an opportunity to pay it off?
I haven't figured these rules out. You know, It doesn't matter. We came in green and the yellow came out and it did it. But we had a great truck. When I say we were only 13th or 14th, we had a chance to come back. So who knows? You never know over. Rick freed this thing up and she was fast at the end.
The first 6 races of the year spread out over more than 3 months. A win right now going into the summer stretch. How big is this for momentum?
Well, this is what I said. Everybody was asking who you got to race for the championship. This will show it going to the stretch right now. But I'm more wore out to see all them fans. I appreciate all them fans out there. I drive around the track and see all in the back straightaway. This is really cool to come out here and I won Lowe's, man. This is cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
He won at Lowe's for the second time. Let's take a look at our point standings through 6 races. Hornaday now on top once again. Mike Skinner after that huge crash on the front stretch, 84 points back. Crafton has moved to 3rd in the point standings. Kyle Busch back up a couple spots to 4th, and Todd Bodine in 5th.
Yeah, Johnny Benson drops back down to 7th. He was in the top 5. Remember, this is the battle for the 11th position. Rick Crawford, team boss on the inside. James Busch, a rookie teammate on the outside. They hit about a half a dozen times before they get to the start-finish line. Let's take a look at Rick Crawford's onboard. Well, as they're going to battle here. Watch, he gets to the inside. They're going to make contact right here. That's the first time. Then they keep making contact.
Rick did not run the 10 truck of Buescher out into the outside wall. You know, there was plenty of room out beside James for him to come on out. So obviously Rick wasn't too thrilled by what happened there, and I don't blame him. There was plenty of room for James and them not to hit.
There's Rick Crawford after he got out of his truck.
You come here, I believe were the words that were just said. You come here. Talking a little bit with young James Buescher.
We assume.
We believe.
I couldn't find him in there.
So what an evening, actually what a day that took place here. We had some rain come down to stop qualifying, but that didn't stop the excitement for tonight's race, and it's going to continue the next time we make it to the racetrack. The AAA Insurance 200 from Dover International Speedway. We go to the Monster Mile.
Ooh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, this starts our summer stretch here. We've got a week off next weekend, but then we get to Dover, and then we do some pretty serious races in a row.
Did you see how many times we were 3 wide here at Lowe's Motor Speedway? I mean, these trucks put on a heck of a show tonight, and Ron Hornaday, the guy that we said on paper would win, did. But he had to come from a lap behind to do it.
It was an impressive performance. Again, it started early this morning. Ron Hornaday winning practice number 1, practice number 2, and had a very impressive car or truck all race long. It was Mike Skinner with the unbelievable accident on the front stretch. But when it was all said and done, the fastest truck did win the race. Ron Hornaday grabs his 40th win in the Camping World Truck Series. Stay tuned for Trackside.
The Truck's 5-week run kicks off in Dover in 2 weeks. Will the track have its 10th different winner in 10 races? Or will someone finally be able to tame the monster? Catch all the action starting at 8 p.m. only on Speed.